And we're live. Hello, everyone. Happy Mother's Day to all you lovely mothers that are out there at the moment. I've been a good boy today. I've been very good. I've looked after the missus, done the cooking, done everything else. I've been very good. I hope you've all done the same. Right, well, football is back. Everyone. And as you can see, I'm on my own this evening. John is doing Mother's Day duties. Mickey's working. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to have one of them shows where we do a little bit of interaction. Going to talk to you lot, get your thoughts ahead of the game that's coming up, and also I think what we'll do before we focus on Wolves is we'll concentrate on this rebuild that apparently is going to be happening. Well, we know it's going to be happening in the summer. First of all, before I go any further, can you all hear me all right? Before I go any further, because I always have issues when I do this on my own for some reason. 1 minute. Let's do this quickly. I'll stick the live chat up. You can all hear me, yeah? Yes. I'm waiting. Anyone? Right. Okay. Well, look, first of all, because I've got some talking points. I'm going to be doing a phone-in show tonight. As this is going to be a phone-in show. So if any of you do want to, you do want to call in and give me a hand, because I'm on my own, please do. Please do. So I'm gonna bring up a few topics and a few concerns that I've always got, because you know me, negative Nick. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. So yeah, what I've been most concerned with, just over the past 2 weeks at least, I've not really been keeping too much of an eye on the news at West Ham. I've had a bit of a sabbatical from it. It's been quite nice, to be honest. But I have been keeping an eye on, players that we've been linked with. And, we've gone from Jonathan David, coming through the door. And as you know, as we've spoken about, Angel Gomez, players like that, players of that ilk. And now we're looking at the cream of the Championship, which is effectively what Ipswich did, don't forget. When they came up, they spent a fortune when they came up. They basically hoovered up a lot of the talent from the Championship. Worked well for them, innit? I've got no issue with us buying players from the Championship. I really haven't. But the main problem that I've got is if it's just Championship players. So, for instance, at the moment, if we go to what I would like our lineup to be against Wolves. So against Wolves, again, I'm going to say it again, that is how I'd like us to start. Be it Fulkrug or Ferguson in the middle, I don't care. But that's how I'd like us to start. We haven't got Jimmy at the moment. If Jimmy was available, I'd play Jimmy where Guillaume is. But I'm dying to see Guillaume in this team. But if you have a look at that, we've got some real talent in this team. And I know that there's an awful lot of people that like to play down how good these players are. But they're really fucking talented. And it's one of those things where we're not going to know what we've got until they're gone. I'm certain of it. Because the players that we're going to be left with, and this isn't me doom-mongering, there are stories out there in the press for every single one of these players that you're going to see next on this graph that are looking like going, they either want to go and we want to sell them or whatever. But this is a scale of the rebuild, potentially, what we could be looking at in the summer. And that is, we know that Fulkrug's going to go. We know that Ferguson's going to go. We know that Soler's going to go. We know that Paqueta is apparently going to go. Whatever happens, so we're told, he's going to leave in the summer. Emerson's going to go. Kudus is also going to go. Alvarez, we're told, is going to go. Guillaume, Atletico Madrid are interested in him. He must be shit. He must be terrible. It's going to be another one that's going to bite us in the arse, that player. We're going to let him go for 20 million. He's going to go and smash it elsewhere. And we're going to all kid ourselves with the same delusion. It weren't for him in the Premier League. It's La Liga's it's a farmers' league. It's farmers' league. The only farmers' league, if you watch the Premier League at the moment, is the Premier League. It's the worst standard of football out of any of the top 5 divisions. I don't care what anyone says. At the moment, it's boring. It's dull. I don't like it. But ultimately, when you look at the players that are said to be going, I've left Cresswell up there in that top left-hand corner because he's going to be staying. It's looking like we're going to try and fight to keep Soufal as well, but we're going to have to give him a pay rise in order to do so. We don't want to let him go. So Soufal could be staying. But Guillaume, Emerson, Todibo, Alvarez, Ferguson, Soler, Kudus, Fulkrug and Paqueta. Those players. Now, are you excited by this prospect of this rebuild when you consider we spent 150 million in the summer just gone, and some of the players that have got red X's over them, they're still our best players. Bowen aside, obviously. Bowen aside. Are you excited by that? Do you really trust them to replace sufficiently, whether or not Kudus has been playing well or not? That guy carries the ball. He's literally been doing a thankless task. He's been carrying the ball up the field. Still one of the top in Europe for ball carries and successful dribbles. I'm just a little bit frustrated by this and worried. I'm more worried by it because if we get this rebuild wrong in the summer, bear in mind there's a lot of money you're looking at there. What's his name? Aguero ain't even on this graph. Aguero's going to be gone in the summer as well. He's staying in Spain apparently. He's going to either Barcelona or Real Madrid. Yeah, shitty Aguero, rubbish. Another player that we write off, not good enough. Goes elsewhere. Look at him. Yeah, but that's because he's not man enough for the Premier League though. We kid ourselves. It's got nothing to do with it. It's to do with the fact that we play a system of football that just doesn't suit good players. The only players that look good with our style of play are those two fuckers in the middle of that screen. What does that tell you? They're the only two. It's moulded around them. And I saw a stat earlier on to say that Souček is our level top goal scorer this year with 7. Well, that ain't to be celebrated. The reason he's our level top scorer is because where he's sitting, it's cock blocking the rest of the team. We don't create anything. So we're reliant on box crashing wonderfulness from Souček. And yes, he can score a good goal. But fuck me. It's the midfield. The midfield is the reason why we've been struggling. So I am concerned. I'm concerned moving forwards. I'm concerned with all these players that are supposed to be leaving. I don't think this is anything to be celebrated. Oh, Kudus, we're going to get 85 million for him. What are we going to do with it, honestly? What are we going to spend it on? Like I said, we spent 150 million in the summer. We got worse. Who's going to be behind this rebuild? Because if it is going to be the likes of us going out, because with that sort of money to spend, spending 50 million on Ferguson, 20 million on 17-year-old Rig from Sunderland. Is that not the profile of player that we criticised Tim Steitman for? Going out and spending a lot of money on Guilherme when we needed players for the now. Why are we looking at players like Rig when we're going to need a first team? When you've got a first team and you're settled and everything's going well, then you go out, then you go and buy your prospects and ones that you can afford to leave sitting on the bench for a couple of years. Don't we need £20 million players sort of coming into the team? Again, very confusing. But you don't know whether, I don't know whether or not. I mean, Tony Ryan says here, I thought that we was buying Todibo in the summer. We've bought him already. Sorry, Matt, I'm using different software tonight. I'm going to big up your comment. 1 minute. Let me move that. Yeah, Tony Ryan says, I thought that we were buying Todibo in the summer. We've bought him. We got him on loan. And we've triggered that. It's done. We haven't paid for him yet, but we've got to pay for him. That's part of the problem. You know, that's part of the issue. But we're it's looking like we're going to be selling him and making our money back from what I'm told. From what I'm told. So who knows? You know, a lot of these players don't necessarily still want to be here. But anyway, look, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go through the comments quickly with you lot. I'll start with Alec here. And he says, Alec, does this rebuild justify the sale of Kudus? I think as much as it pains me to say, we'll be letting one of our Essex go to fund a rebuild. That's where we are. We're back to being a selling club at West Ham because we're having to sell our players to cover for the mistakes. 150 million wasted in the summer. You know, we sold Declan Rice. He got us out of a load of shit. We're having to sell because we can't buy properly. So we're going to be making a fortune this summer. An absolute fortune. You've got the sale of, you've got to be thinking, Todibo, that'll just be cancelled off. So we're not making no money out of that. We'll probably just sell him for 40 million and make it so that we ain't got to pay for him. Guilherme will make 20 million on, Emerson, 10 million if you're lucky. So that's 30 million. Soler's going back. Ferguson's going back. Alvarez, probably 50 million, I'd say. So you're looking at 80 million there. Another 85 million for Kudus. So you're looking at 165 million. Fuck Rug, it's 10 million. Paqueta, you're going to be looking at over 200 million there. Plus Aguero as well. We might even be looking at 250. But out of that, how much are we going to actually have to spend? And like I've said, that's a lot of money. But we did manage to spend 150 million in this summer just gone, and we got worse because of the way that we run this club. You know, so I'm at the stage where I'm feeling like our good players we should be hanging on to. I mean, look at us. We're 16th in the league. We're 16th. We're shit, and we're going to be selling our best players. It's a worry. It's a real worry, honestly. Elbow says Todibo is staying. Emerson, they're not, mate. The only one on that list that might be staying could be Todibo. Emerson, he's going to be going with Paqueta. He's been wanting to go for the last 2 windows. Alvarez is going as well. They don't even he can't even get in a fucking team, mate. You've got James Ward-Prowse and Souček playing in his position. We're playing Alvarez in a 10. He's gone. He's gone. Happy Hammerit says, agreed. The fastest defender in the world currently. Aguero. He is the fastest defender in the world. I know. But he's not coming back. You know, he won't be coming back. Gaza says, no chance we're getting relegated next season. I think it all depends on the teams who come up, mate. You know, we'd have got relegated this season if the 3 teams all been threatened with relegation. Would have been in a relegation fight had those 3 teams that came up have not been dead on 17 points. You know, they're not going to make it to 20 points, I don't think, them teams. If a few teams come up one year and all of a sudden you've got to get to that 40-point mark, then you're in trouble, aren't you? I don't know when that's going to happen again. I think the gulf is so big between the Championship and the Premier League that even when you look at what Ipswich have tried to do this year, they've got a good coach. They've got a really good coach. But the gulf is just too big. It's massive for them to bridge it. So 9 times out of 10, the teams that come up are going to go back down again, I think, now. Red Stretch says, if those players go and Sullivan are left in charge of recruitment, I'm telling you, I'm terrified of it. Because I don't buy into Potter and McCauley holding all the purse strings here and being in control. They're really not. They're not at all. They're going to get what they're given. They'll have some input into it. They might spot a few players. You might see a Dan Rigg come in for 20 million, but the bulk of the money that gets spent elsewhere, yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it. Todibo not going, surely. You'd hope not. In my opinion, he's our best defender. But from reports that you're seeing out there at the moment, even on his side, the rumour is that the geezer is going to be he's going to be moving on. He's going to be moving on. What you got to think of as well, gentlemen, is top players. Todibo is one of the top defenders in European football. Those players in that graph, a lot of them, Guillaume aside, I think we could keep Guillaume, but we just don't want to. I don't know why. I think it's more pettiness because Tim was involved in that deal. That's all that is. But Alvarez, Paqueta, you know, Fulkrug, Kudus, they're all top players that have got that want to play at the top level. We're 16th in the league. We're shit. You know, it's a worry. It doesn't matter who the manager is and whether they like him or not. Their careers are short. They want to go out. They want to win things. Gary Brock says, players like Kudus and Paqueta, is exactly my point and my feeling. They're the people you build a team around. When you've just finished 16th in the Premier League, you don't embark on a mission to sell your very best players. You're difference makers. You know, we're easily one of the worst football teams in this league. But the reason that we kind of we get ourselves out of situations is because we have difference makers in the team. And the difference makers are world class. Like I've already said, Ipswich have already tried to be the Championship All-Stars. They went out, they hoovered up a load of Championship talent. It's all very well bringing in 1, 2, maybe even 3 Championship players, bringing them into a team that's packed full with talent. And then, as John used to say, iron sharpens iron. You'll bring their level up. They'll get better. But if you just pack your team full of Championship players, you end up with a Championship team. I mean, Sunderland, they're not even getting automatic promotion. We're looking at buying all their fucking half their team. I don't know. Also, what about our youth players? If we're going out there buying midfielders, what about Potts? What about Earthy? Are they going to get forced further to the back of the fucking queue? If what you want is to develop players and bring players in that are not ready to hit the ground running, please use our academy. We don't need you to go out and hoover up everyone else's kids. We've got our own. Use them. That's what I'd prefer. Prefer to use our academy. We've got a fucking good academy. If that's the route you're going to take, use our boys. Very worrying. Very worrying. So what we got here? Robert Cowie says Souček starting next season. The club will be relegation bound. Look, he's going to be starting next year. We're not going to be selling him. The same as James Ward-Prowse. They can't. When you look at the players that are going, that they're open to selling, or I say open to selling, these are players that want to go now. They want to go. They've had enough of West Ham, like many of us have. They want to leave. They want to fuck off elsewhere. Souček and James Ward-Prowse. No one else is going to pay James Ward-Prowse what we're paying him. He's here until his contract expires. Nobody's paying 15 to 20 million for James Ward-Prowse and giving him 120 grand a week. No one who's not off their tits like we are anyway. It ain't going to happen. So Ward-Prowse, a player on 120 grand a week, is going to be seen as too expensive to sit in and around the squad. And even on a loan, I think we'll struggle with that now. I mean, he went to Nottingham Forest. That didn't go well, did it? He weren't even getting on a bench towards the end. Keep the faith that the syphilitic dwarf is going to. That's the. I think that's the only chance that we've got is if they leave, mate, one way or another. We will buy shit because it's Sullivan in charge. Look, I'm sure they won't all be shit. They can't be, can they? The odds are, if you're spending 250 million, you've got to get the odd decent one, surely. You know, one or two of them have got to be good. But I don't know. Trosh says that's the midfield which was awful in Moyes' last season. What midfield? This midfield? James Ward-Prowse and Souček. I know. It's a worry. Oh yeah, I know. And Antonio. We've got. Listen, I love Antonio, and I'm glad he's recovered. Right, I'm so glad he's recovered. But before the injury, I was sitting there thinking to myself, I love him. He is a club legend. I don't care what anyone says, but he can't be starting up front for us anymore. Not anymore. And I thought that before the car crash. He's getting older now. You know, I'm hoping that we can help him because, you know, he's been with us 10 years now. He's our record goal scorer. Get him back to fitness. And then maybe he can go and play out, you know, for a few more years in a bit of an easier league. That ain't going to be as intensive on him. That's what I want. We can't be having Antonio next year. We can't be, you know. And I love Antonio, but no, it can't happen. It can't happen. Elbow says, when I see Guillaume in training videos, Guillaume in training videos, he's fucking brilliant. And he's, like I said to you, there are some top European clubs that are interested in his signature. This one is going to come back. It's going to bite us in the arse, as so many others have. And we won't. It's like we're scared to give him time in case he does well. It's fucking bizarre. Because you get all these arguments out there saying, oh, maybe he's playing these players because he's trying to inflate their value. Well, if we're looking at Guillaume, why are we not trying to inflate his value? The season's dead. I don't get it. There must be some triggers in his contract that we don't want to activate. There's got to be. There's got to be a trigger that if he plays a certain amount of games or does this, we've got to pay his club 5 million, 10 million, and we're just not having it. That's all I can think. So we're trying to sell him before any of those clauses are activated. You know, season's dead. What's the point in paying money we ain't got to pay? That is where I think it is. It was a heavily claused deal. Heavily claused deal. And if we've got no intention of keeping him, they're just going to let him rot on the bench. But it's a false economy because when you think about it, if you've got a £20 million Guillaume there that you're going to sell for 20 million, if he came on for the last 5 games of the season, 10 games of the season, scored 3-4 goals, he wouldn't be a £20 million Guillaume, would he? It'd be a £40 million Guillaume. So everything we do is a false economy. We're fucking stupid. Right, what does Mikey say? Welbeck and Ferguson, you know it. Yeah, I reckon Welbeck will be available soon. He'll be available soon. Gary Brock says, how have we become a selling club again? I think this is how it's going to be for the foreseeable now. You know, that kind of... If Potter is going to be is going to be the manager for the foreseeable. I believe that was part of the attraction of him because of what he did for Brighton. Managed to bring players in on the cheap. Well, he didn't. Brighton brought players in on the cheap. We're going to be bringing players in on the cheap. They're going to be different to the ones that Brighton brought in. But Potter did his job. He managed to get the best out of them, inflated their value. They sold them on Cucurella, fucking Casiado, McAllister, players like that. They sold them on Ben White. They sold them on for a lot of money. So it did kind of work in that respect. But they do have to have talent. This is the thing. This is what I think Sullivan sometimes doesn't realise is that, first of all, like Guillermo, you've got to be willing to go out and take a punt on these players, which Brighton do. Not every player they bring in is a success. You've got to be willing to take a hit on these players if it don't come off. So you've got to go out, you've got to bring them in, and then it's like almost like your kids in a youth academy. It's not always going to work every single time. I just don't think that we're... you look how Sullivan's reacted with Guillermo. I mean, the fucking moaning, the pissing and moaning that we've been seeing coming out in the press with how terrible that signing was, going out and buying Guillermo. He was never bought to come in and hit the ground running. He was an 18-year-old prospect that weren't even playing every game at Palmeiras. Obviously, Staunton's brought him in for the future because Staunton had a long vision. So he was buying some players for the now and some players for the future. That's really the way it should be done. But again, there's too many people getting fucking involved with things, isn't there? Right, where are we? So Steve Palmer says, every signing of a lackluster player where we have youth coming up is a knife in the back of the academy, and it's a potential for a lucrative future. Absolutely, we've got to be more, just better run than what we are at the minute. It's just depressing. Leonardo says, mate, ever since FFP, we've been a selling club. Rice helped because it's pure profit, but I believe that was a plan for Paqueta and Kudus. Those two are definitely going to be going, aren't they? They're definitely going to be going. There's no two ways about it. Kent Hammers says, Nick, it will be interesting to see after tomorrow how many season ticket holders will have renewed their season tickets early to help with cash flow. I have to say that I did mine early for points. Yeah, well, look, if you've got the money sitting there and you can afford it and you're going to renew next year anyway, I don't see why you wouldn't renew early. Of course you would if you was going to renew. But I do know that there are a lot of people that have fallen out of love with West Ham this year. There's going to be a huge dip in season ticket sales, more than there's ever been before. And that probably, to be fair, isn't just football. It probably isn't just to do with West Ham. It's probably to do with the wider economy and the way that people are struggling at the moment. Football is becoming a luxury that people can't afford now. Unfortunately, it's the way it is. Especially when you're going over there being bored to fucking tears. You're probably sitting there thinking, this really weren't a good life choice. This, probably should have paid the insurance on my car instead. Alex says, I don't mind letting one or two go, but this is the spine of our current team. This is madness. Yeah, they do. And the other thing that Brighton do as well, I mean, the only thing that I'll say with Kudus, yeah, let's just say we only sold Kudus, 85 million. We've almost got his understudy there, Jimmy, if he ever fucking recovers. We've almost got his replacement there. So that's a very Brighton type of thing to do, You let players go, but they've already got players coming through underneath them that no one really knew about. It ain't even like they're about to go out and quickly, hurriedly get their replacement in. They're already there. They're developed to a stage where they're happy to let the other one go for more money because there's a bloke chomping at the bit to get in. Well, that is Jimmy with Kudus. Jimmy is a good replacement. He's not as good as Kudus. He's not, but he is a good replacement. That's one thing. So if all we sold on that list was Kudus, wouldn't be the end of the world because we got Jimmy. But it ain't going to be. It's not going to be. You got Paqueta, who's, just the only sort of creative force that we've got in the team. Alvarez probably isn't going to be missed because we're just not using him anyway. That's the one player where we won't even miss him next season because we don't use him to his strengths anyway. We've been playing him in the 10. And he is a brilliant player. We make him look shit because we play him next to duffers. so that he's the actual ball carrier in midfield because there's no one else around him that's proficient enough to carry the ball up the field. So our CDM has to do it because everyone else is a fucking cart horse in midfield. It's frustrating. We know that Emerson will go wherever Emerson, well, not where Paqueta goes, but we know that he's going to go as well. There's rumours that Areola's going to go as well, or not go but be replaced. You know, he wants a ball playing goalkeeper so that we've got someone else who's even more proficient with knocking the ball about around the back, so that we can do that playing out from the back thing on steroids. So I suppose you need to do that. I suppose if that's a style of football that you're going to play, then you need a ball-playing goalkeeper. I suppose that goes without saying, as long as it's someone that can actually be a good fucking goalkeeper as well, mind. But yeah, it's a worry, isn't it? It is a worry. If you think all them players are going, I mean, they're the players that put bums on seats, aren't they? The ones that have got all the crosses over them. Not all of them. Obviously, Fuckrug and Ferguson haven't yet. You know, haven't really been given a chance to. I'm skipping through this chat, by the way, so I'm doing my best with this. 1 second. So Corral says, hello, mate. All right, boozers. I wasn't asked to renew, but I won't do anyway. I'll get a season ticket at a local team again, Barnet. Less aggro, more relaxing, and a good kebab place in Edgware too. Yeah, it's a shame, isn't it, mate? It really is, and there's a lot of people that will be taking that route. I think so. We'll put it this way: if I had my season ticket at this stage now, personally, I wouldn't be renewing next year myself. If I hadn't been tipped over the edge already, this last 3 seasons and this would be enough for me because I'm seeing nothing from Potter at the moment to suggest I'm going to enjoy his style of football. Nothing. We should be seeing something now. I'm hoping that we're going to see it on Tuesday against Wolves. You know, because if we ain't going to open up and play attacking football against one of the only teams that are below us in the league who also have fuck all to play for, we're never going to see attacking football, are we? So I'm hoping that Wolves will come out and have a go and that we'll have a go and that we're going to see a good game of football there. That's what I'm hoping. But I won't hold my breath. Fortune's hiding down under TV. Hello, mate. He says the sad thing is it is a worry, but we all saw it come into this. Yeah, mate, 100%. We all did. You know, we had a lot of hopes. Don't forget though, in the summer. I mean, not many of us were happy with Lopetegui, but when he came in, we got on board with it, particularly because we won the transfer window and we were all buzzing over that. We thought we'd had a great transfer window. We're going to go on. This is going to be amazing. But it didn't take long, did it? Until the penny dropped. Do you know what I mean? You heard Ramsdale is replacing... Oh, I'm not a Ramsdale fan. Have you seen that quote from Ramsdale where he admits himself he can't concentrate for a full game? He has mind lapses. You can't fucking fall asleep if you're a goalkeeper. I know he's good with his feet, and I don't mind Ramsdale. That is not a top-level keeper, though. It's not. He can do amazing things and pull off world-class saves, but fucking hell. He's also capable of doing madness. Randy says, Nick, let me ask you this. Once we get to the end of the transfer window and we've done all our business, are you hopeful we will be in a better position coming out of it with the squad, or will it be worse? I think we're going to be far worse off, mate. I do. Once this window is through, unless we do what we've never done before, because this is a rebuild, isn't it? I thought the one last season was a rebuild, but when you look at this shit, this is a proper rebuild. We are still going to be keeping core players by the sound of it. There's no rumours that Dinos is going to be going. Cresswell, we know, is going to be staying. Fabianski will probably get an extension for a year. They're saying that. I reckon they will. I reckon Fabs will stay. Sufeld are going to try and keep. We know that Souček's going to stay. We know that James Ward-Prowse is going to stay. We hope that Bowen's going to stay. I'm taking it for granted that Bowen's going to stay. But this is another one. Bowen is not being played to his strengths. He really ain't. Well, I know he loves this club. He loves it more than anything, and we love him. And I know that Danny Dyer's his father-in-law, and he'd be fuming if he left. But he ain't getting no fucking chances. He's being played as a forward. He's not a forward. He needs to be played back in his strongest position. But he's never going to get to play in his strongest position in a Potter setup because he ain't a wing-back and he ain't a striker. And I don't think he's a number 10 either. There's no flexibility in this way that Potter's playing. So these inside forwards that we've got, Bowen is the prime example. He is going to suffer. He's going to have way less of the ball. He is going to get frustrated. And he's probably going to end up falling out of the England setup over this. And that will bother him. It will. I don't see why we're not just, even if he wants to go back to, even if ultimately he does want to go to a back five at some point, why not just go with what works for our team? Well, first of all, honestly, if he went out and played with a midfield of Alvarez just at the base, destroying, Kilman and Todibo there, Scholes and Wan-Bissaka, Paqueta and Kudus in central midfield, with that front three, would be a fucking force. For the next few games, we'd all have fun. There's so much creativity there. Perfect balance. You've got 5 defenders with Alvarez, and you've got 5 attackers. Perfect balance. There you go. What have we got to lose? Fuck all. Just go out and do it. But we know that isn't going to be the case. We know that it gets tipped way defensively because we end up with 7 or 8 defensive-minded players on the pitch. And it isn't just whether they're defensive-minded or not. It's the way that we're playing is also defensive. I just really hope that against Wolves, it gives us something a little bit better. A little bit better. So let's just go back to the screen for a minute anyway. Put up a few more of your comments and then I will take a few phone calls. Right, hang on. So we've got Fortune's hiding down under. This software's doing my brain in. Hang on. Mate, have a look. Oh, dear. I'm just going to read them out, I think. Shall I get new software? Right, hang on. I'm going to move this over. Sorry, this is very unprofessional, isn't it? Fucking hell, why does it keep on doing that every time? Mark Pendleton says, how are you, mate? Right, that was about something else anyway. So, Kent Hammer says, pray Nick. I wouldn't be surprised if we signed Sanchez, the goalkeeper from Chelsea. Potter loved him at Brighton. I think the trouble is, Kent, and I know that's really small, by the way. Let me just, I'm going to use your comment, Kent, to make it bigger because, hang on 1 minute. And I'm going to go bigger again. 1 minute. He is shit. Oh, mate. I'm actually fucking, this is doing my brain in. What is going on? Right. There we go. That's better, isn't it? Right. Let's shrink you down a bit, Trudge. Right. That's better. I hope you can read that anyway. Let's drag that down. Fuck it. Right. Okay. Honestly, when Mickey ain't on the comments, this is what happens. Mark says, Nick, we're never going to see that team, sadly. No, I know. I know. Why can't we just for once? I know it makes me sound like a big baby because I've been calling for that central midfield for ages. But why won't they just do it? Just why won't one manager? Moyes didn't do it towards the end of his tenure. We had those 3 players. Fucking Lopetegui wouldn't do it. Why won't anyone do it? Kudus and Alvarez played in central midfield most of the time when I was at fucking Ajax. We know that Paqueta's a central midfielder. Why would you just not try it? Honestly. What's this? Kingy says, West Ham and new software. Nick, you've done this to yourself. I know, mate. I know. Doing it live as well. Director of football needs to be done. Mate, see, the thing is with Stighton, all right? I'm not willing to blame him. I think that the toxic situation that Stighton was definitely involved with at West Ham, it weren't entirely him. That was created. You had a board that was playing director of football off against the manager. He didn't even have power over Moyes. He weren't even a director of football. And then he was promised that when Moyes left, but then Lopetegui came in and he didn't have full control of. He couldn't even employ the manager. So the whole thing was a failed exercise, but it stems from the top. I don't really blame Stighton. I mean, he had to go towards the end, but we absolutely do need another director of football, especially if you've got this level of rebuild. Are we honestly going to rely on Sullivan and his mates to sort this out? I mean, 250 million, that's going to fucking burn a hole in their pocket, isn't it? It really is. Double quick. Peter says Bournemouth will beat us. Yeah, I think well, Bournemouth are a good team. They was unlucky today, weren't they? Starting got done up like a kipper. He did. Like, I weren't the biggest fan of Starting towards the end. I weren't, because I don't think he was strong enough. I think he needed to be. He should have set the precedent when he first joined the club, and he shouldn't have accepted not being a full director of football. He came in some fucking hybrid role. When he joined, it should have been, no, I'm the director of football now. Don't give a fuck whether Moyes wants that or not. Not in the summer now, but he didn't. So he took a bit of a hybrid role. It was promised to change. It never did. He was never our director of football ever. I think he's brought in 3 players, and I haven't stopped bashing him for it. Director of football isn't a problem at any other football club other than ours. Yeah, because there will never truly be a director of football, will they? They won't be. Unless the director of football just happens to like Will Salthouse players, there's going to be a problem, isn't there? Completely agree, Gary. LTEL says, usual suspect. Hello, mates. Mate, honestly. What do you reckon he's going to do on the weekend? Anyway, I'll tell you, let me get me phone paired up, because I want to give you the chance to phone in. It would be good to talk to one or two of you as well, because this is difficult at a minute. Talking about West Ham. Massive credit to the channels that have still been sort of making content and going out there and doing it. Lots of Hammers Chat, West Ham Network, people like that. They've been producing content every day. I don't know how they're maintaining motivation for it. Genuinely, I don't. So full credit to them. All right, 1 minute. That's connected, I think. Let me just see if that is working. Yes, it is. Right, so if anyone does want to phone in and save me, because I'm struggling at the minute, so it'd be good to get your perspective on things. Let me put the number up so that you've got an opportunity. I won't accept withheld numbers, by the way. We had a few try that last week. We won't do it. So if you don't put your number up, I shall not be letting you on. Okay? So that is a number anyway. So whether Corral, how about yourself, Kingy? Do you fancy a call? Anyone else? So you've got Fortune's hiding down under, saying he's disillusioned at the moment. This is a fucking disaster. Look, the number's going over that now. I'm getting fucking help with this software. Let's get rid of that for a minute. I really am disillusioned by football these days and don't enjoy it. It's become a game of Wall Street and the fun has been ripped out. This is another thing as well, isn't it? This is another big problem, and I think it's football related in general. The Premier League itself isn't as exciting. I don't buy that it's completely shit everywhere now. It's not. Cresswell. I think a lot of it is relevant to who you're to the team that you're supporting.
These days, don't enjoy it. It's become a game of Wall Street.
Hang on, mate. Can you just turn me down for a second? That's it. That's good now, mate. Who am I talking to, mate?
Oh God, you haven't talked to me in a long time. You haven't spoke to me in a very long time.
I remember you. You're the gentleman that was gonna take David Moyes out, weren't you?
Very good memory, son. Not take him out though. That's a little rough though.
You was. I remember. You said you was going to take him out, and I was in full agreement.
I didn't say take him out. Don't try to wind me up. No, but I did give him a couple words though.
Yeah, you did, mate. You did. What would you like to discuss this evening, mate?
Oh Lord, I'm all with you. Nothing has changed.
No,
nothing at all.
What? No,
we're not playing our strongest players.
I mean, look. There has been a change in style. We can't. When people say, nothing's changed, it is just Moyes ball. What people are saying is, it's just fucking defensive boredom again. That is true. It is different though. The style of football is different, but the players are largely the fucking same, and the way that we're playing, which is the mentality of it, it's defensive, isn't it, mate? It's boring. It's it's gutless as far as I'm concerned.
See, the way I look at it is there's no leaders on the pitch. I mean, I love Bowen, don't get me wrong, but he's not a leader.
Yeah. Well, there are leaders. We've got Mexico's captain in the team in Alvarez.
He don't play.
Yeah, but why don't he play, mate? Can you explain to me why Alvarez is not good enough to play central defensive midfield for West Ham? Explain that to me.
Because he's hardcore and he's got an attitude in the dressing room, mate.
What's wrong with that?
He's got a proper attitude.
What's wrong with that, though?
Nothing. That's why Potter won't play him. The other geezer didn't play him. Moyes didn't play him. Simple.
Because when he first came in, if you remember, right, was it his debut? We actually played Brighton. I'm sure we went away to Brighton and we won, which was very unusual because we never beat Brighton. We went away and Alvarez played the sole CDM. He literally sat in front of the defence, the back four, and he was fucking brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Didn't he put in like 3 tackles or 4 tackles that game?
Yeah, it was unbelievable. It was perfect. It was perfect because what we did was we kind of funneled the play towards him. They was trying to play through the middle of us, and the 2-8s or the 10s were literally funneling the play through towards Alvarez, who was just fucking munching them. It worked perfectly.
See, the way I look at it, he's good for about 16 minutes before he gets a yellow card. Then bring on somebody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
But up front, I mean, I don't understand that little Irish boy. I mean, he comes to our team and he looks plumb lazy.
See, there is that. But what you've got to also remember is, right, this is what I never wanted Ferguson. I didn't, especially the deal. I was not happy with that deal at all, not in the slightest. But do you know what? If you've got him, fucking use him.
Exactly.
Use
Play him.
And he isn't match sharp. So how he's ever going to get match sharp sitting on a fucking bench, I don't know. I mean, James Ward-Prowse couldn't have been match sharp. He hadn't played for a fucking year. He was sat on Nottingham Forest bench forever. He comes in, straight in the fucking team. It's all about your profile. That's what it is. You know, it's got nothing to do with being match ready or not. It's bullshit.
I wish I had a job like those guys. Go in, get in shape, exercise, sit on the bench, watch a game.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't get any better than that for 4 years and make a fortune.
Like Danny Ings on 120 grand a week, you know? He's got the best job ever, isn't he? He's got the best job ever.
Danny Ings wouldn't even get on the bench if I was the manager.
No.
He wouldn't even come into the team. I don't know what they were thinking about that.
I don't blame the player. Right? You can't blame the player, but... well, I do actually, to a degree, because...
Yes, you can, because the player can go up to the manager and say, listen, you put me in here, I want to play, bro. Give me a break here, a couple of games or something.
Well, no. My problem was that we've tried to sell him. We've tried to get rid of him and offload him a few times. He won't go.
Well, I don't blame him.
He won't go. He's like, no, I'm all right. I'm living in Holton Church. I'm fine.
Well, I don't blame him. I mean, he just paid for his new hair, $500,000 or something. You know what I mean? It's looking good now.
I know.
But, I mean, come on. We have no striker. We have the oldest team almost in the Premiership. Come on. That's fucking embarrassing. Excuse my French.
It is the oldest team in the Premiership, right? It is the oldest team, but only because of certain players that we've got now. I mean, if you look at Danny Ings and Antonio, are 2 players that are not going to be here next year. Cresswell shouldn't be here next year, but he's going to be. Soufel's going to be here next year. If you got rid of those players and Fabianski as well, so there are a core of old players there that if they were to be removed, then we wouldn't be anywhere near the oldest squad now. You know, we've actually got we're only a couple of players away. If you like I've already said, how many teams in the Premier League? If I put it back up again, I'm going to keep boring everyone. But how many teams how many teams in the bottom half of the Premier League? Let's say, I don't know, 12th and downwards, would not love to be able to field that fucking team. Seriously, most managers.
See, you're talking to a guy where I don't give a shit about other teams. I love my West Ham. I
Yeah.
really don't care about the England team because I'm not English. You know what I mean? I love the badge. That's what I love.
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, see, there you go. Paqueta, Kudus, Alvarez.
In the middle.
I don't know about Folkberg being up front, though, but hey, give him a shot.
Well, no, look, for me, if Fulkrug or Ferguson's fit, you play Fulkrug because he's our player. So I would play Fulkrug. Plus, we were starting to get glimpses before he got his injury. I mean, when Potter first came in against Aston Villa in the Cup, he'd only had the team for about fucking 12 hours, I think. But he came in, he put the team on the pitch, and it worked really well. Fulkrug looked good. He looked good in that game. So and the reason he got injured was because he'd done what he's never done for us since he's been here. He fucking made a lung busting run to get to a ball, and his body gave out. Bless him.
I was just going to say that. So why did we get him?
Well,
this is the Premiership.
Yeah.
You do not get a dinosaur to do a job that a sprinter's supposed to do. Come on.
You're preaching to the converted, mate. I was dead against Fulkrug when we signed him. I was dead against Ferguson when we signed him as well. Look, listen, I know for a fact that Ferguson is a top quality player. I don't think he's got the best attitude in the world, but I've heard through someone that we know, that Bobby Zamora used to basically be on the coaching staff at Brighton, and Bobby Zamora fully believes that Ferguson is potentially one of the top strikers in the Premier League if he gets a run, if he finds the right environment, if he finds the right team. Apparently, he's got it all. He's got it all.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but see, his body language reminds me of one person, and that's that boy from Man U that went to Aston Villa now, Rashford. Talent up the ass, could play good football, but on the pitch, his body language looks so damn lazy.
Yeah.
You know, and we should have got that guy from Villa that went to Saudi Arabia. Come on, man.
Yeah, but again,
you know, a young upcoming striker, hungry, Premiership proven.
We can't compete with anyone that's about to go to Saudi because they're going there on stupid money. No one in
we should have gave it to the 120 a week.
Are you talking about Duran?
Yeah.
Oh no, we could have had Duran. We could have had him.
Exactly.
That was done.
Why didn't we take him?
Well, no. All we had to do was pay the money that we then offered again later after the window. I think when January came around, if we'd have offered that money when we should have got him in the first place, he was our player.
Pure stupidity on our part. Pure stupidity.
Yeah, it was, and he would have made a massive fucking difference to us.
I mean, that little greedy bastard up on top. I mean, he knows how to make money, but not in football.
Yeah,
you know,
no,
he knows how to make money in other adventures, may I say? But not in football.
I think he's making money himself personally, mate. I think they are. I think it's a good little cash cow for him. It is. When you look at it, they bought West Ham for nothing, and when they do eventually sell it, they're going to sell it for a massive profit as well. You know, they've bled us dry. They really have.
I'll tell you, I was on my electric bike today getting a little exercise, and I went by Upton Park.
You was on an electric bike getting exercise.
Yeah, you do have to pedal, Nick. You know, it's not all golf. Well, you wouldn't know nothing about that, you know.
No, I don't. I'll just get the bus. It's easier. Yeah.
All right, mate. I just wanted to say it's lovely talking to you, you know?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. Well, cheers for the call, mate. Cheers for the call. Just
before, all right. Hey, you know what? I might just join you guys, but yeah, I think I might just join you guys.
Yeah, but what do you reckon in terms of the Wolves game coming up, which is a big one on Tuesday? Let's not talk about the result because I really couldn't give a fuck about the result. I just want to see some football. What are the chances of us actually watching the game and feeling good afterwards in terms of the fact that we've just been entertained? You know, what do you reckon?
Mate, I just want to see him play the West Ham way. You know what I mean? Attack. When they come at us, put in a fucking tackle.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Don't let nobody bully us. Get the goddamn second ball. Fucking go out there and work.
Just, yeah.
That's what I want to see.
Yeah. No, I agree, mate. I agree.
That is the fucking West Ham way. I mean, I've been watching West Ham for 25 years now. And that is the West Ham way. I hang out with West Ham fans. You know what I mean? Come on.
Mate, I know. Well, look. At the end of the day, for me, what I'm worried about, and this I am actually worried about as well, is I've had this conversation before when people talk about the West Ham way, right? Because just to go on a little bit of a rant here, it's not nothing. It's nothing to be sneered at all. Because don't forget, football first and foremost, it's a working class sport. Now every club, as far as I'm concerned, the team is a product of the fan base. We ended up with a team, an explosive team, a ferocious team, an entertaining team, because they was a reflection of the fan base that followed them and demanded that on the fucking pitch.
Exactly.
That is a West Ham way. That was us. So that is why it's important, because it's part of our heritage, it's part of our DNA, and it was born out of West Ham. That's why we ended up with what we ended up, and that's why throughout all of football as well, why football is worth so much money now is because the working class has injected so much passion into it. But now they're flushing people out and they're going, oh, fucking, what is the West Ham way? Well, the trouble is now, mate, a lot of the legacy West Ham fans are leaving, and we've been playing shit football for so long that the new West Ham way is something different now. This is I think what we're...
It's too much like Yankee football, to be honest with you. Yeah. It's too fucking commercialized now and all that bullshit. You know what I mean? It's too commercialized, like Yankee football.
I mean, it's going to get worse before it's going to, until the money comes out of football. It's only going to get worse. We'll have fucking adverts on VAR checks and things like that soon. It will happen. They'll be dragging them out just so they can play an advert.
Yeah, I remember when I was introduced to West Ham, my first night, I rented a room at Green Street, went for a drink around the corner, and looking at all the pictures, I didn't know what the hell was going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then those guys found out I was a Yank, and they're like, this is West Ham, mate. This is West Ham. You're not buying drinks no more. All the drinks are on us. Just like that, bro. And I didn't have nothing to say.
Anyway, mate,
that was pure love.
Absolutely, mate, absolutely. And on that note, thank you very much for the call, mate.
All right, man. Have a good one.
All right, top man. Cheers, mate. Thank you very much. Good man. Right. Anyone else want to phone in? Please do. Corral, Gowie, where are you? Ryan, Kingy, anyone. If you want to phone in, give us a shout. I mean, is it gone now? Do you think the West Ham way? Are we silly? I'll never accept it silly, demanding that we play a style of football that's in keeping with what West Ham are, as far as I'm concerned, or what we always have been. I'm never going to let it go. I'll let West Ham go before I let that go. I won't accept this because I didn't fall in love with this. I didn't. If I'd have been introduced to football in this dome, being taken over there as a child, would I be as passionate as I am now? Fucking God, no. Not a chance. I mean, that might be a good thing if I weren't as passionate as I am now. I don't know. Oh, hang on. Kingy, I'll call you back, mate. I'll call you back. Oh, fuck me. Everyone's phoning now. Hang on. Gary?
Hello, Nick. How are you?
Very well, mate. Very well.
It's like buses, isn't it? You wait for a call and three come in.
Yeah. I thought as I'm on my own tonight, mate, I'll just open it up, take a few phone calls.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad.
See what.
How are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. I feel quite relaxed. I do feel quite relaxed.
Good.
Even though, don't get me wrong, with some of the news that's been coming out in the with players that we're linked with, players that are supposed to be going and stuff like that. I think I would be kind of on the verge of just wanting to fucking, I don't know, implode, and that probably will come because I'm not happy with the players that are looking like. I know what people are saying. Oh, Kudus, 85 million, take it, biting their hands off, mate. We're so bad at spending. We're so bad at spending. I'm just worried. I'm just worried if you hemorrhage too many of these difference makers that we've got in the team. Do you have any?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Do you have any faith that we're going to actually get better through selling these players? We should. If we go out and we sell 3 players for 250 million, we should get better because that's a lot of money and we should be able to invest and. Yeah,
this is the trouble. What worries me is if we let these players like Paqueta and Kudus go, it's all right getting the money. I mean, 85 for Kudus, the way he's playing at the moment is, you don't see anyone else paying that.
No.
But of course, then you've got to hope you get the right signings in. It ain't a flop. You're not wasting money.
Exactly.
This is the trouble.
And how many?
I know.
If you look at the summer, we went out and we bought a. Having said that, right? Because I've been having this thought about Soler, yeah. So we brought Soler in, who is he's an established top player, top central midfielder. How many times have we actually played him in central midfield, though, Gary?
He's often been stuck out on the left, doesn't he?
We haven't played him in central midfield.
No.
There's another one.
The trouble is, I was watching a bit of watching Gio the other night on Amma's chat. I know you watched that as well. And he made a good point. Paqueta, Bowen, and Kudus. He said, the three of them can't really fit into the team in their right positions.
They don't.
He said two out of three
they don't function in this system, mate.
No, and I thought about it, and I thought, well, the only way they could function was if Bowen played on the right, Paqueta played on the left or as a false nine, and Kudus played in the 10. Yeah. Which is then going back towards your midfield, what you always wanted to see of, the Kudus, Paqueta, and Alvarez.
Wouldn't you like to see it, Gary, just for one game?
Yeah. I don't. To be honest with you, I think the general consensus of fans, what I can listen to, is why it doesn't. He take a few risks now. We're not going down. We're safe. We're 16 points clear.
Yeah.
It's done. The relegation thing's done. And why not try? I would love to see Glameri and Somerville play in a game next as well, with either side with sheer pace.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that. Maybe that's but it's I don't know. With Potter, I mean, I'm trying not to judge him. I think some people are jumping a bit too quick. I mean, we've got to give it the next season. But I get the general consensus of feelings, and amongst yourself, including you, is you don't really feel you're going to get the style of football you want to see. Is that right?
I'm pretty certain I'm not going to get the style of football I want to see. No, I don't think there's even a discussion there. I think what we've got is a pragmatic manager. I do think that we'll get better at it, and I think that we'll become a very stable, solid mid to lower half team. And that's not me taking the piss. I think Potter will stabilise us in quite a bland way. I think he will. I don't think there'll be anything to complain about in terms of our league position, but I think we're going to settle down into, hopefully what he does is he builds something meaningful. Like I don't know. I don't know, mate.
I honestly feel though, if it's not next season, it doesn't go well, I think he'll be under a lot of pressure, and we're going to go for the same cycle again. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean, the board being very risk averse, don't they, Nick, to play an attacking manager in.
But hang on. Right, so let's just say that's the case. Let's just say that if Potter's rebuild, he's allowed to sell Paqueta, Alvarez, all these players, and then he's allowed to use that money to buy his players.
Yeah.
How the fuck could you let him go after 6 months again so we start all over again? Because then you're going to have the same people in the chat. No, hang on, because you're going to have the same people in the chat saying what you're saying now, saying what they're saying now. This ain't his team. You've got to give him another 2-3 winners. Give him a load. We need a director of fucking football, Gary. We need to stop buying players for managers. That's how we've ended up in this mess.
Yeah, you're right. Because in that respect, because obviously, if it doesn't work, then you've got to get the players and start again. I know what you're saying.
All over again.
Bit like the Brighton model, you mean, Nick? Yeah.
100%. Look, if there's too much money in football now to take risks. Managers, it don't matter how nice they are or anything else, they are only interested in their own career. So they're not necessarily going to always go out and buy the best player for the club. They're going to buy the best player for them, for their system. And I just feel like what you need is a good director of football that understands the needs of the manager that they've got in place at the moment and will give them the parts for that, but not lose sight of what the longer vision is. And then that vision stays the same, right? So you always end up with the same flavour of manager, maybe slightly different, but ultimately you then go out and you find another coach that can just come in, slot in, like Arne Slot at Liverpool, picked up fucking Jurgen Klopp's team, didn't even sign a player. I know they've got different level players, but look at what he's done this year, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's right.
In his team.
To be honest with you, I think the manager I like to see is like when Slaven Bilic came in 2016, I mean, obviously he was slightly reliant on the Payet thing, and obviously when he went, that took the wheels off the cart. But yeah, I know what you're saying. I just feel like that sort of manager, Willich, I think the fans really took to him, didn't they?
Yeah, we loved him.
You know,
we
the
loved
style
him.
of
Why did we love him, Gary?
Well, he played attacking football. We had a go at teams. He was blessed with Payet at the time. I mean, he was just world class, wasn't he?
Yeah, but
we had a good player as well, though.
Yeah, but I had a very good argument a little while ago, right? Do you know when we've had these Mavericks that we all love?
Yeah.
Di Canio under Harry Redknapp, who just let Di Canio do what the fuck he wanted. Payet under Bilic, who just let Payet do what the fuck he wanted. These players would not be anywhere near as good as what they were for West Ham if they had stringent fucking defensive system-based managers that made them do a role. They wouldn't be anywhere near as impressive playing for those people.
I'll tell you what, Nick. When I watch some other channels, not just West Ham channels, but other channels as well. You know, like people were moaning about lack of atmosphere at the stadium, yourself. It's not just West Ham because there's a guy. You know, the biggest show on YouTube is the Big Six, isn't it? And there's a guy on there called Big Steve. He's a Man City fan.
Yeah.
And he said at the moment, he says a lot of the Premiership atmospheres in stadiums is absolutely shit. He said, including Man City. He said, you've got loads of tourists in there. He said, it ain't. And the style of football as well, which Pep has brought in. I mean, you watch so many games now. There's so much passing backwards across, which we do as well. You know, I prefer the old style of counter-attacking fast game. You know what Klopp played at Liverpool and Moyes in our first 2 years when we broke quick on teams. It was exciting, wasn't it?
I agree, but I think that does apply to the big clubs that have been basically completely taken over by the corporate machine. So when you're becoming a lucrative Premier League team, the clubs, the owners, I'm not being funny, they end up trying to flush out the existing fan base and bringing in tourists because that's where the money is.
Of course they do,
but if you look at the real clubs that are in the Premier League, when I say real clubs, Aston Villa have got a good atmosphere still. Newcastle have got Nottingham Forest have got a fucking brilliant atmosphere. Bournemouth have, Palace have. There's loads of clubs.
There are a few teams there, but there's a lot.
Well, there are. The big clubs, see, we're in the middle of nowhere. We're in this big fucking bowl, this corporate, but we ain't got the product to sell that the other ones have got. And I don't want a fucking product to sell. I just want my club back. We're never going to have it, though, are we? Not now. I don't think we're ever going to have our club back. I think the club has gone in that respect.
No, I think fans. I think we've really got a lot to forget about Upton Park now. It's gone, like you say. It ain't coming back. It's gone. You know, I think a lot of fans. To be honest with you, I can see eventually a lot of fans, and I hear them now, starting to go to lower league football.
Yeah, well,
for the real atmosphere of the stadiums. You know what I mean?
I've been doing that recently. You know, I've watched a bit of lower league football the last few weeks.
Nick, can I ask you a question? How would you feel if it ever happened? It's pure hypothetical. If the fans set up their own West Ham club,
I'll be all for it. You're talking about a Phoenix club.
I wonder how many fans on tonight. Just if you've got a lot of people watching, just to see would they work your way through the leagues. Wouldn't that be interesting? I wonder how many fans would actually go for that.
I'd do it. I'd be part of the journey. I'd fucking start. I'd commentate on it as well. It'd bring my passion back for the game. If we ever did that, you know. I don't know, Thames Ironworks or whatever it is. If we just, I think that would be different. You know, it would be because I'll tell you what, mate. You watch any lower league football, and I know that the standard is different, but you literally, you know, because you watch League One, you watch Championship, mate. It's like a basketball game, end to end, end to end, end to end. Both teams having a fucking go at each other, trying to score.
Pep's been to blame for a lot of this, even though he's a brilliant coach. The actual, I've had a lot of fans say I wouldn't like watch Man City if he were. I find it a bit dull. You know, I like the more fast breaking, the counter-attacking football. That's what I like. I think that's exciting.
Have Moyes as manager? No.
No, I'm not saying no. But but to be fair, the first 2 seasons he played it well. We had Lingard come in, we had Antonio, and we broke Bowen, we broke on teams, and we was exciting. We used to rip teams apart, didn't we? Yeah. You know, I'm on about the first 2 years of Moyes, not the latter stages of it.
I'll be honest with you, mate. I never ever found it thrilling football. We never got anywhere near the level of excitement that we saw under Bilic at Upton Park. It was better than what we're seeing now, and there were moments in the game, but fucking nowhere near, mate. I haven't seen anything like football that I've loved since Bilic. It's
a shame, really. It'd been interesting in hindsight if Payet had stayed, what he could have done, because you had a player there who was just unbelievable that season, wasn't he?
Claret and Booze FC. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, who's the lad in Australia, 40s under? Is it Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know he was saying he's a bit pissed off with it, and I've had a lot of other fans say they're just bored with the style of play at the moment, watching how we are. And but it's not, with Potter, this slow possession-based game, I can't say I'm enjoying it.
I can't.
Now, whether it's going to be any different next season, I don't know.
It ain't going to be any different, mate. It wasn't any different at Brighton. It was no different at
Brighton.
No,
this is it. And the thing with Brighton, Nick, they struggle to score goals.
Yeah, I know. I think the most he scored in the season was 40. The most he scored in the season was 40 goals.
Why do you think? Why do you think at the moment, Nick, we're 16 points clear, we're safe, and he knows he must get some feedback from why do you think he's not going for it now, not experimenting, trying different things, a bit more exciting? I don't see what he's got to lose. He's not going down.
Different managers see football, and it doesn't mean he's a bad manager, right? It just means that he's got to find a club that suits him. Like Everton, they love defensive football. They are shithouse FC. No offence to any LTEL, not LTEL, the other one that comes in this Everton. They don't mind boring football. They've always been used to it, right? They have been. That's not us. That ain't us. Yeah. So you've got to find a club, but you have to find a club that suits your profile. And the issue is, Gary, the way that Potter sees football, the same as the way that Moyes sees football, they don't they don't get anything out of gun-ho. It's control. They want control,
I just see a comment there from Tony Wilkins. Tony, listen, I don't hide the fact that I think under the first 2 years under Moyes and the 3 years in Europe, when you look at the club now, the season's gone, it's dead. We've got New Year, we've nothing to look forward to. No one can deny what he done. It went wrong towards the end, it did.
Yeah.
It's a shame he couldn't have. It's a shame he couldn't rebuild.
I must admit, Gary, I am bored to fuck of talking about Moyes.
Yeah. No, but he just made a comment. I'm just sort of responding.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want Moyes to come back. I can.
I'd rather.
If fans can't appreciate what he done at the time, then I don't know what's the matter with
Gary, I would still rather eat a shit sandwich and have Moyes back in our dugout. So I would. Yeah,
I know you're most anti-Moyes fan probably out there.
No,
I think you and Amos Mikey are the two most anti-Moyes.
No, if he came back, I'm gone. I'd be gone. If he'd have come back this time, that would have been me done with it, finished.
Yeah, but you say that, but then look at the last Lopetegui and now Potter. We're not happy with that either, and we're doing nothing.
I'm not happy with that either. But going back to what was shit before doesn't make, just because you've got it wrong with the two appointments since, doesn't mean that the fucking idiot that we wanted out at the time we should go back to him, Gary.
Yeah.
The issue that we've got is we've got a board that don't know how to employ managers, mate.
No. So if you was down to you tomorrow, right? If Potter wasn't there, being realistic, do you have anyone in mind that you would like to see give them the go at West Ham? Just hypothetically.
What's that?
If you was down to you to pick a manager now to come in to get the club going the way you want it, who would you have in mind? Would you have any ideas?
At this stage now, where I'm at, I don't know. A lot of people are going to laugh at it. But if at this stage now, I'd bring someone in that where there was some identity with the fan base, someone that I thought would get it as well. I would be looking at two ends of the spectrum, either somebody like a Bilic, going back to someone like him. I don't know, people say, listen, a lot of people are saying with Bilic, the players weren't even fucking training hard when they came. And I'll tell you why they weren't fucking training hard, because when we moved into that London stadium, the board diluted that squad with so much shit, that all of the competition was sucked out of it. That first 11 picks itself. Everyone was like, this club's going fucking nowhere. Pyatt was pissed off. It was killed by the board that season. So it would either be Bilic or somebody like a Carrick, someone like that at this stage. Someone that gets fucking West Ham, and will play on the front foot.
The difference is, I suppose, where we're fans, from the board, and this, I think, why they appoint the managers they do. But what they don't want is to get relegated. That's what they don't want. They can't risk, and that's why they look like they are. That's why they don't go for the exciting attacking managers we would like to see at the club. Huh? This is the trouble. They don't want. They won't risk it, will they?
Why is Moyes even being mentioned? He's never not going to be mentioned, unfortunately, mate. I personally, I'm bored with the fucking subject, but it's people are always going to go back with him until we find someone that moves us on beyond that. What's happened is, we've been an absolute fucking car crash since we moved on from that car crash. Because don't forget as well, the only reason we've got this wanky old squad that needed a massive rebuild in that summer and a massive rebuild this summer was because of that wanker that everyone's still crowing over.
No, I think the fan base was always split with him, wasn't it, Nick?
Was always what?
It was always split, wasn't it? You know, with Moyes.
It was always split, but he built a shit squad. He spent $500 million. What did he build, Gary? What did he build? Nothing.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I think the only thing is, right, I will say this. Whenever someone come on and have a go at Moyes, right, they always relate to the latter part of his tenure when he's in charge. They don't talk about the first 2 years when we was playing, we were challenging top 4 most of the time. We was top 6, top 7.
Idiot Nick and the Moyes out brigade have ruined the club just as bad as him. Right, Scott Sanderson, you can wind your gums around my plums and fuck off. You're out. Fucking dickhead.
Yeah. I mean, I must admit, I'm not enjoying it under Potter so far from what I've seen. I don't know. How'd you see the game going on Tuesday, Nick?
What's that, mate?
Well, actually, how'd you see the next a couple of games go? We've got Wolves Tuesday, we've got Bournemouth at home. Well, is that Sunday or Saturday?
I don't know. I don't know what happens after Wolves.
We've got Bournemouth and it's Liverpool away after that, I think.
Yeah, I don't know.
We've got Tottenham coming up as well. Because we've got some big games coming up.
So what we got here? 1 minute. Let's have a look. Well, you say we've got some big games coming up, mate. What do you mean big games?
Well, in terms of Tottenham at home is always going to be a game that fans want to win, don't they?
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, we want to win it, but I mean, even that,
where you live.
But even that ain't really got anything to it. I mean, Spurs have been shit this year. They've been dog shit. It's like the battle of two toilet teams. I don't think.
You'll be buzzing to beat them.
Mate, I don't think any club has got bragging rights over the other one if we win that game. We've been shit.
No.
Also, it's what I mean. This season's just pony.
Yeah, I don't want the same next season to be the same. That's the trouble.
Well,
this is the trouble, isn't it?
What do you think is going to happen? We sell Paqueta, we sell Alvarez, we sell Kudus, and we go out and we buy players like Rig, 17-year-old Rig for 20 million. I don't know if we can risk selling Paqueta and Kudus. I don't think we can let them both go. Ooh. I know if you was down to you, you'd keep Paqueta, wouldn't you? Huh?
Plus, also that would solve one problem. Of course, Kudus' best position is on the right, where Bowen plays. So that, I mean, by keeping Paqueta, I can understand that. But
yeah.
It's a risk getting rid of these flair players, isn't it? Really, it's a shame because you could have been you would have put a really good centre forward in there and get Somerville on the left, and you could get Kudus, Bowen, and Paqueta around them. Sort of floating around. Could have been a really exciting stuff.
This mate, we've got what should be a very very. Look, I've said before, if we want football that's going to excite the fans, Potter's got more tools now than what he'll have next year. So if we're not exciting the fans and playing good football this year, then forget it next year. We're going to be losing a lot of our edge in the transfer market in this window coming up.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to be doing, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So unless we go out and somehow we do what we've never done before, and that is just recruit amazingly well with every penny that we've got to spend, which could happen. Who knows? It could happen. Then great. But I don't know. I just don't see it, mate. I don't see it.
One more thing. One last thing before I go. Fortune's always hiding. Keep your spirits up. I know. he's a nice guy, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm going to get Kingy on next.
Yeah, I like listening to him. Well, and also, if Matt's listening as well, he came on a couple of weeks ago. We used to be a season to get older with Matt years ago.
Yeah.
We went to the FA Cup final in 2006. He rang you a couple of weeks ago, didn't he, Matt?
He did. But Gary,
if he's listening, say hello to him for me.
Gary, when you phone in next week, I'm going to set you a challenge. Try not to reference Moyes. Right.
No, listen. All I'm doing is just talk about the club where it is now and where we've been the last 4 or 5 years. I was just sort of making a relevant point of it. That's all.
I know. I know. I'm just honestly, mate. It couldn't have gone any fucking worse than what it's gone. It's been shit now for 3 years. Yeah. In the league, we've been dog shit for 3 years. This is just this is going to be 3 solid dog shit Premier League seasons. If you go back to the third, the one 3 years ago, we almost got relegated, and we won the cup. We won the cup, which polished over it. But that was an awful Premier League season. And then the next one was terrible. This one's been terrible. It's 3 years. 3 years now. Yeah. Just too much.
Anyway, I'll let you go. I'll go, but let you get another call on.
All right, lovely. Cheers, Gary. Thanks,
Nice
mate.
to talk to you again, Nick. Anyway,
And
mate.
you. All right, cheers, mate.
You take care. See you, mate.
Ciao,
Bye-bye.
mate. Bye. Right. Kingy, don't mention Moyes. I bet he does. Right, here we go. I'll call you Corral as well, mate.
Hello, sir.
Hello, Kingy. How are you, mate? You all right?
Well, mate, I was all right until you woke me up with the notifications on my phone at 6 a.m. this morning, but then I woke up to your dulcet tones.
Oh, there you go, mate. There you go. See? What a way to wake up. Me moaning.
Oh, mate, it's perfect. Sun shining and Nick on clapping boots.
Oh, mate.
Mate, how you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm all right. I've enjoyed the last 2 weeks. So it's yeah. I'm gonna try to do now. I don't know how I'm gonna succeed because I don't really care about the game that's coming up. I don't. So I'm gonna try to just take it as it is and just try and enjoy the game with what's left. Trying to take the emotion out of it. It's difficult to do it though, isn't it? It's difficult to do it because I just hope he goes. Thing is, people think I'm anti-Potter. I'm not. I'm getting frustrated because he could do more than what he's doing, and he could get all of the fans on side. He could so easily do it. But
then, do you not think that that's coming from above, and that's the reason he's in the job in the first place?
Yeah, but then
do you think?
Yeah, but then he's just a yes man.
Yeah, but I think that's what our club's becoming now, mate. To be honest, like you look at Lopetegui, like he was definitely someone that they could manipulate. I think Potter's pretty similar. I mean, like you look at them two managers right there. It doesn't matter if they're English, Spanish, whatever.
No,
I think they were very manipulated in what they've been doing. And looking at that squad that you put up earlier, if you take all them players out that we're talking about selling, mate, it just you talk about bad pre-seasons so far. We're gonna have another 3 bad ones.
But that's terrifying now, isn't it? When you look at that, I'll just put it back up on the screen. I mean, we know Ferguson and Fuckrug and Soler are going. 3 of them we know are going, right? So Soler, Ferguson, and Fuckrug are apparently gone. You know, Kudus, it sounds like he's going to be gone. So those 4 are gone. Guillaume's definitely going to be going because he can't even get a minute on here. Emerson, has been pushing for a move for 2 years straight now, and we've got Scholes in. Alvarez can't even get it for some reason. Alvarez can't even get in our team in his strongest position, and then you got Paqueta, who we know will move if he gets cleared. He's too good to be playing for a team that is 16th in the league.
Thing is, right? We put up West Ham put up the Payet video yesterday. I think it was on his birthday.
Yeah.
Right. He flicks and tricks. Look, I'm not saying Kudus and Paqueta are near that level. I don't think not at that time or season what Payet played, but they're the sort of players that get you off your seats, make you want to watch football, make you want to get you excited about it. You take them boys out. Who are you replacing them with? Because all I keep hearing about is championship players, which you are right. If you're going to bring in championship players, bring in Freddie Potts, who's just got championship player of the year for Portsmouth, which he will do. And like you use the boys that we've already got, make use of them, because at the end of the day, if we're going to lose all the fun players like that, we have to see a little bit of academy and see the boys that we can actually resonate to. Because if we don't have that, then we're just going to end up with Norvite again and fucking Gokantore, you know, like players that we do not give a absolute fuck about. And I'm ending up kind of watching games. What am I doing? What am I actually watching? There's no connection at all. And you know what? I've been saying it for ages about that starting up a team in the lower leagues for West Ham. Because could you imagine the atmosphere in like a little 6,000-seater stadium?
Oh, mate,
unbelievable,
mate. Could you imagine? Because I've said this earlier on, right? And because I've been having this conversation now offline as well with people and about the West Ham way, and I did. It sort of came to me, and I think it is true, right? That the West Ham way. If you look at the West Ham fan base, that we know the West Ham fan base is historically, right? We are a fucking colourful, fiery, mental bunch, right? We ended up with a but we ended up with a football team that reflected us. Therefore, the football team and our style that we insist on, they're a product of us. They're a product of us. So it is our fucking DNA, and that is why we demand football being played in a certain way. We can't get on board with pussy football, mate.
I know, but our team now represents what stadium we've got now, mate, which is a couple of little gems with a lot of underperforming, boring players.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that very much represents the stadium that we're in now and the atmosphere that we can't seem to generate. Like obviously, I'm overseas, so I can't watch it. I can't go to the games. But come back March last year, didn't I? And the Aston Villa game was my last one. I didn't even want to go.
Yeah.
I was bored of it. I've been to the stadium 3 times in that 3 weeks. By the Aston Villa game, I was like, I can't be asked. I'd rather watch it on TV. Like, that doesn't say a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like, even through the TV, you can see it.
Mate, it's half an hour for me to get to the stadium. I've been offered 3 tickets. I've been offered 3 tickets. I've been to quite a few games, but not home. I think I've been about 5 games at home this year, and I've been to 5 or 6 away. But I've been offered 3 games this year, tickets. With someone's offered me a ticket, give it to me. I've gone no.
I mean, like,
honestly,
that's what I'm saying.
That's half an hour away.
Half hour away. I'm talking 4 hours away.
That's half an hour away. Yeah,
and 10 grand away.
Yeah.
But like looking at what result fixtures we got coming up, mate. I'm only seeing Ipswich and Southampton as something that we might get something out of. Like, and that's not because. But do you know what? We could get something out of Spurs. We could get something out of Man United, right? But the only way we're going to do that is if we do try something different. Like, even try. Even this sounds stupid, me even saying it. Even try and start in Ferguson. Like,
why not?
I'm sure that
if he's here, mate. If he's here, why ain't we using him? And do you know what? The
only thing that I can think of, mate, is that they're trying to drive the price down. That is just diabolical decision for trying to.
I don't think that is it.
Get something out of this season.
Do you know what?
You don't reckon that?
No, he's gone. I mean, the club have already said they're not going to be paying what Brighton want. But when you look at
then,
it,
then what is the point then?
But when you look at it in the way that we played, let's say at home against Newcastle, right? Who had a fucking cup final in 4 days' time, you know, and they were at half mast. I don't care what anyone says. Their midfield was good, but the rest of the team, they didn't want to put their foot in at all. You know, Isaac was fucking jumping out of tackles left, right, and centre.
Oh, big time. Big time.
And do you know what? We played with 8 defensive players at home. We played with Alvarez in the 10. You had Soler and Paqueta on the bench. There is only room for 2
up top.
There's only room with 2, but there's only room in that team, the way he wants to play it, for 2 attacking players. 2. And that's Kudus and Bowen. You can't drop either of them, so he's got a problem.
And I'm definitely not. I'm the same as you, mate. I'm not Potter out at all. I
don't see the point.
To be honest,
don't see the point.
After seeing, exactly, and after seeing Lopetegui and what he's doing now with Potter, like, I genuinely do not think. I think we could have any manager in there, and I think we'll get the same outcome. I really do. I don't see it changing. I even think if you wanted Amorim, and so did a lot of people, and including myself.
I think he'll be good. I think he'll be good for them next year, mate.
Yeah. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I think even if we got him, we'd still be seeing the same Amorim as what we're seeing at Man United, because I don't know why, because we have got tools. We have got tools to use, but we're not using them.
At the moment, we've got tools to use. But I think what they've done is...
But that's what's scary, mate. Because next year, we ain't going to have the tools.
No, but I think...
We're going to have a blunt hammer.
But I think what the situation that we're in, maybe we are fucked financially. I don't know. That's another rumour that's about that. I refuse to buy into, but apparently we are. We're skint, right? So let's just buy into that we're skint. Which means that they've got to sell players like Todibo. You know, apparently they just don't want to pay the 40 million that's going to be due next season. So they're open to selling him.
What a way to run a club! What a way to run a club! Because at the end of the day, we did that as an obligation, and now we're saying we're not buying him. It's like we've kept the receipt. You know what I mean? Like, that is so cowboy. It's not even funny. It makes us look so fucking stupid all the time. We always look second rate. We never look on top. The only time we've ever looked on top in the last 10 years really is when we got rid of Declan Rice for 105 million and when our fans made us very proud of going over to Prague and the way that he performed on that European tour. That is the only thing that we can go, do you know what, we were first rate.
Yeah.
Like everything else, the way this club is run is terrible. It's awful. And I'm quite glad that I haven't done any content this year, because I don't know how you lot do it, mate. I don't know how you're getting on there talking.
Well, I've struggled, Matt. I like the last 2 weeks, I've just literally gone silent on it. And look, you know me, right? It ain't even. I haven't got a problem with moaning. You know, I like a good moan. I really do. But
I've noticed.
But my issue is that I'm moving beyond frustration. It's getting more. I would say it is becoming more apathy now for me. And I'm like, I'm struggling to give a fuck now. That's the trouble. I'm just like. Oh. So when you look at when I look at Hammer's chat, and I look at West Ham Network, who do still manage to maintain enthusiasm, sort of churning out shows, fucking tip me hat to them, because I don't really know how you can just keep on talking about this all the time at the minute. I'm struggling. I'm struggling. I just don't know.
I said it earlier in a comment, mate. I've actually enjoyed the nostalgic videos that people have been putting out in the last 2 weeks more than this season. Like talking about old times, having old players on there, like all the old stories and stuff like that. Because at the end of the day, on the pitch at the moment, mate, it's not happening, and I can't see it happening for a while. Because if we lose all them players that we're talking about, West Ham as a team is going to be a lot worse than what it is as a club at the moment.
Oh,
and
it is, mate.
It's hard to watch.
I mean, like I said, I mean, even if we do sell those players, we're not going to be getting the same level players come in. It's not going to happen. We're not going to be getting the same level players, and I just feel like they've made a real pig's ear of things in the past 2 years, 3 years. I think we already had a bad name in world football in terms of not West Ham, but the owners of the club, the ones who do business.
Oh, definitely.
They've got a terrible name.
Definitely.
So that doesn't help them go out there and get deals done. Look at what we did with fucking Duran. The way we fucked Aston Villa around. We fucked the player. Everything we do is dirty, underhand.
The player was doing the hammer sign, mate.
It's disgusting, mate. We've got no class at this club.
Thing is, we have though, mate. This is the problem. We, as a fan base, we've got lots of class.
I know.
And this is the thing. We're the ones that really carry this fucking club, and that's the truth of it. Like, it's not. It doesn't come from the board. It doesn't come from him. It doesn't come from the players at the moment. It comes from us. We are the only driving force to make this club be looked at as like a decent club.
Yeah.
Because whenever you speak to any football fan, if I've just met them or whatever, who do you support? West Ham. Decent fan base. That's probably the first thing they say. And the second thing is, why did you get rid of Moyes? Sorry, I had to bring that up. But it's the truth.
Fucking hell.
It's a good thing that we actually do really well as a fan base to keep this name up, because if it wasn't for us, this club would be very much on its arse, which it kind of is already at the moment.
I'll tell you, there is something John's just put up there, right? And this is true, mate. If you like nostalgia, have you found Robert Banks'?
I'll watch it all, mate.
I'll watch a couple of videos a week. I'll keep going back. I'll keep going back over them because, and you know what? It makes it worse. It does. I'm sorry. When you watch them recaps of those of those seasons, it makes it worse because it ain't even the football or anything. I just find myself drawn to it's the fans, it's the crowd and stuff like that. I find myself drawn to that, and I'm just like, oh, man, where's it gone? Where's it gone?
This might sound really fucking stupid, right? But when I'm watching it on TV, obviously it's the only way I can watch it. But when we play away, I can feel the crowd. Do you know what I mean? Like, you can even feel it through the TV that the atmosphere's there. When I watch our home games on TV, it sounds really stupid me even saying this, but it's how I feel. But when I watch our home games on TV, I want to turn it off. Because first of all, you see all the empty seats within after 10 minutes. Like, you can't hear any atmosphere in there. It's hard to watch us even on TV at home. But like when we're away, our away fans are second to none. You ain't going to beat them.
It's different. You talk about nostalgia, mate. When you come back over next time, just go to the away games because
that's what I did. Yeah, I went to Everton last year.
You get that feeling. Yeah. You're surrounded by boisterous fans. It feels like it did before, and that's the only way you do. And it's very difficult. They're going to become rearing and rocking all shit, and people, I think, in the long run are going to be paying a lot of money for away tickets because I think that's where
It's the only ones that anyone's going to want.
It's where the fun is, unfortunately, and I don't think we're ever really going to get that in that stadium now. And it is sad, you know.
No,
I mean, do you know what makes me fucking sick as well, honestly? And look, no offense to the people that are doing it, right? This is West Ham, right? We've got, is it the West Ham Fans Alliance that are out there at the moment looking at ways to manufacture an atmosphere in that stadium? Fucking tifos, flag wavers. What's next? Drums, brass band. We're fucking West Ham, and we've got
the first tifo they bring out, mate. The first tifo we bring out is for someone who's injured.
Yeah, I know. No, but do you know? I get it. Do you know what I mean? Though, but that ain't West Ham. That ain't us. You know,
no.
I just we don't, we shouldn't
just
need.
Let us all, just let. I was going to say let us all sit together. I'm not there, but like let you all sit together. They shouldn't have split everyone up who sings. They shouldn't have done this. They've done it to themselves, mate.
I know.
They've done it to themselves, and they fucked this. They fucked it all up. Like they had. And there's the Upton Park. What's the last season at Upton Park? Iron Men.
Yeah.
In the DVD,
mate.
like, and someone says it on that. They say we've got the product. West Ham fans are the product. Like the stalls outside the front, the pubs, the cafes.
Yeah.
Like that was the product. They had it. All they had to do was move it and put it in there. But they didn't even let like stalls go over. They didn't let Nathan's Pie and Mash go over when they were promised. Like all this stuff. That's what's making it second rate, mate. Like they had the product. This is what annoys me about someone who's such a good businessman.
Well, no,
if you've got a product.
Why
fucking change it?
Yeah, but what it like you just said, the product was West Ham. West Ham was the fans in the community. That was a product, and they've stripped it. We've built it. We've built that. We've built West Ham.
Of course we have.
They haven't.
And that's the only way we're going to get it back, mate. Is building it back up.
Yeah,
and the only people that are going to do it is us.
Yeah, I just the sad thing is, it's like when you what you said earlier on about not being Potter out, and I'm not. Do you know what? I think if I had the same fight left in me that I had after Moyes had gone, and let's just say that this first 9 games was Potter's first 9 games after Moyes, I'd be fucking raging because I still had fire in my belly at that point. And I'd be like, no, we want more than this. But you know what? I've finally just accepted now that.
Whenever I want red paint, mate, I always just get a picture of your fucking face up around the boys' time and just take it into Dulux. Just say, can I have this shade, please, mate?
But I've just kind of accepted it now. And the thing is, I haven't accepted it. I don't accept it. Like I'm not. It's not something I am going to accept because I do think at some point I will be honest with you. I think if this say next season is a reflection of what we've seen so far and it plays out like that, mate, I don't think I'm going to be able to do it because I can't commentate on that because I don't identify with that type of football, so I don't know how to commentate on it. I'm only ever going to be negative. Other people are going to be fucking seeing it, go, what were you moaning about this? I can't get on board with it. I can't. Not that style of football. It's shit.
The thing is, what they've played on, Nick, as well, mate, is that the fact is, once you support a team, you're stuck.
I know.
But and that's all they've played on. Like Paul McCarthy's just put up here. It's not the same club, and I'm largely beyond caring, to be honest. As I said to you before, mate, there's always a season where I feel exactly the same, and this is one of the seasons for me. But I still watch the games.
Does this feel a bit different? Does this feel a bit different to you this year, though?
Yeah, because it's becoming more frequent.
Yeah, this feels a bit different for me. I've had loads of seasons where I've been pissed off. Loads. This is different.
I'm not even pissed off, mate. I'm not pissed off.
Yeah.
I'm bored. Yeah. Like, I'm bored watching it. And again, I'm still watching it, and I'll still watch tomorrow morning, Wednesday. Fuck, mate. I'll tell
you what, Mark Pendleton's saying here, used to get in a panic about relegation. I'll tell you what, that could be the best thing that happened to West Ham because I think I'd fucking enjoy it down there. Actually,
yeah, well,
I'm not even joking. Watch the championship.
To be fair,
it's better football as well.
To be fair, I watched Leeds QPR. I think it was 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right? QPR went 2-0 up. Bear in mind, what a stadium, by the way. That is proper old school. Love it.
Yeah.
Watched it on TV. You could feel the electric coming out of it. QPR went 2-0 up. Leeds 2-2 at the end of the game. And it was like proper fucking... It was a proper game of football. There was no VAR. There was tackles flying in end to end. I was like,
mate, it's like watching a basketball game, isn't it? By comparison to the Premier League, it's back and forward, isn't it? But end to end, end to end, end to end.
Yeah, I just read something from John there. He says he's not a good businessman, King. He's a chancer who struck lucky. I thought he was talking about me.
No, he's no, he's.
But I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm
but no, yeah. But no, that's exactly. It's exactly right. And you know what? He's still struck it lucky now because nothing really can go wrong for him, providing he keeps us in the Premier League. It doesn't really matter what happens next. He's got that club is worth so much more than what it was when he paid for it. He's still making a fortune out of it every fucking year. He don't care. It's not like music.
You know what I mean? It's not like music when a band does a band. It's not like music where a band does a bad album and you don't buy it the next time. Do you know what I mean? Like West Ham fans, you're still going to want to go and watch it. You're still going to want to buy the merchandise. You're still going to want to do this because you still got that affiliation and love for it. No matter if it's underlining or not, you're still always going to give him money.
It's changing now. I mean, you've only got to look at it, right? So I think the stat is from the 55,000. I think it was 50,000 season ticket holders that moved into that place. 30,000 of them have gone. They don't go anymore. You know, that means that if you still go, you're in the minority. You're one of the 20,000 that came to the stadium. You still so 30,000 of them. They don't go anymore.
This waiting list.
Yeah,
I'd love to see this waiting list, mate. I'll tell you what, because they must have used invisible ink. You know what I mean? Like, fuck me, because there'll be no one on it.
Mate, that's another thing as well. Even that, they take the piss, don't they? What's the they reckon that there is a waiting list because they make you pay £10 to get on the fucking thing, right? If you do want a ticket, you got to pay £10 to get on the waiting list. And then what they do is they release an offer like they did this month, where they said if you renew early, if you renew early before the 31st of March. You can have so many. You can get other people tickets as well. What about the people that are on the fucking waiting list?
Just pay $10 or $10. Fuck me, £10.
So Australian. Yeah.
I know, mate. It's a good day here. But yeah, mate, I'll still be watching, and I hope we get a result against Spurs. I hope we get a result against Man United. Probably won't, but at the end of the day. Still going to watch. It's hard work to watch it, but I still watch you lot. Which is fun and see the chat. But
everyone's
and I'll tell you what,
everyone's struggling with it.
One big question for you. One last thing, just like Gary, right? There's a couple of people putting something in here, right? Lampard as manager. Look,
I would.
I'm not saying he'd be. Yeah, so would I.
I would.
So would I. I think. Do you know what? For the first of all, it would take all the emphasis off Sullivan. I think if he came in, we're like, fuck, we're stuck with him. You know when you go, it's hard to say this, right? But if you see like an ex-girlfriend or something like that walking around the shops and you're trying to duck her, that's what it would be like with him the first time he comes back in. Do you know what I mean? Like it'd be. I
think there could be some romance in it because it never quite worked for him at West Ham. Obviously, it ended terribly. He was a West Ham boy, a West Ham fan. Grew up a West Ham fucking. His dad was a West Ham legend. You know, Mum was a West Ham fan. It ended terribly for him. It's never going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. But if it did and it went well, having a go at me. If it did and it went well, it would be beautiful, mate.
Oh, definitely. And by the way, in the chat, I'm not saying I want Lampard. I'm just saying it kind of would make me a bit more excited for some reason. Not because of
Frank
him
Lampard
being a fantastic manager.
with Paul Ince as his assistant, Red Five.
Luke McCarry coming on as a coach. Okay, now. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to end on that because that's where I've started to go downhill a bit. All right, I'll get ready for work.
That's fine, mate. That's fine.
Lads, chat. Have a good one. Gary, always good to hear your dulcet tones too. And Nick, always good to speak to you, mate.
You have a good day at work, mate. I'm going to be going to bed soon. All right, just so you know.
Sun's shining. Keep that beard going. It looks good.
All right, mate. Ta-da. In a bit.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Right, let's give Corral a call back if he's still awake. Hang on 1 minute. I'm going to answer a few of these questions that you put in as well. So if you have, I'm trying to pick them up as we go. So let's see if Corral's still around. And please do drop a like on the video if you get a chance as well. You have to come out of the live chat, click a like on the actual video. Does help. not the love heart that they put in the live chat. I don't know why they put it in.
All right, Nick.
Bastards. Hello, mate. You all right?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well. Very well.
Good.
How are you?
Leaving the hair to grow a little bit, Nick.
I've not had, mate. Do you know how busy I've been at work? I've literally not had time. I've not had any time at all. I did have a nice jolly on Friday though. When I had a nice meal in the city. We took some clients out. Went to
Nice.
the Lucky Cat in 22 Bishopsgate. I'm sure it was like the 60 odd 60 something floor. Fucking view, mate, of an evening was unreal. But yeah, anyway.
I've heard of it, but I've not been.
Yeah, very good. Very nice indeed.
Been watching the show, Nick, only to see you and to read the chat from the usual fans and everything. But the motivation has gone for me, and I know it's echoing a very common theme, but I don't look forward to games anymore. I'm not interested in any transfer things. And as you said earlier on, fair play to Gonzo and others that are still producing content. But honestly, I'm not interested in this guy, that guy, some kid from the championship for 20 million, some other guy that's here to make a quick payday. And then what you're saying about possible exits from the club. To be honest with you, I think some of them, I wouldn't be, in theory, had it been 3 months, 6 months ago, and when I cared more, I wouldn't be averse to it, like Kudus leaving. Anyone that's been as poor as he has, and I'm a big fan of Kudus, anyone that's been as poor as he has this season, and if we are to get 84 million for him, or even 65 million plus, I would definitely sell him and try and move on. However, when they're talking about players that personally I've never seen, I've never heard of, but I don't watch the championship, I've barely got motivation to watch us. It doesn't bode well. Keeping players like Souček, maybe giving another contract to Fabianski, who's 56 years old. These kind of things, they don't excite me. They don't interest me. I would rather that we
hang on, one
did a total.
1 second, mate. There's an emergency in the chat. So where are we? It's Bubbling Hammer, right? He says he's pissed and he's on the 145 bus and he's dropped his kebab and he can't find his door keys. If you happen to be on the 145 bus, can you help Bubbling Hammer, please? All right.
What, to find his kebab or to get the keys?
Help him eat his kebab, but most importantly, find his door keys. Go on, mate. Sorry.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's all right. I was going to say that unless, and this is not going to happen, hypothetical, unless we were to have an actual rebuild whereby we are bringing in, like, I can't remember who it was. It said maybe it was Gary. Although everyone echoes the same thoughts, we're bringing in players from the academy.
I know.
Or we are bringing in players that are young and hungry with potential, but predominantly focusing on academy. Then personally, I wouldn't be too against having another rebuild of a rebuild and waiting. But you can't let go of all of your main qualities, namely Paqueta, Kudus, Alvarez. You can't let go of all three of them. If you sold Kudus, but you kept Alvarez and you kept Paqueta, you don't play JWP, you don't play Souček, you try and sell Souček, and you've got still two marquee players in the team, plus Bowen, obviously. If Areola wants to go, which I heard you say, which I don't know where that came from, but if you say that that's a possibility, and this Ramsdale, who I've never rated that guy, then, we're in for another poor season, because if your goalkeeper's not good enough, then, you've got no confidence in your team, and our defense is poor enough as it is. Even though Areola's not been himself, but you need some kind of stability.
But you do know, Corral, these, this modern style of playing out from the back, keepers, it's almost like they've got to be better with their feet than they are with their hands.
Yeah, I mean, personally, Nick, whichever team I've coached, I've never, ever been a fan of it playing out from the back shit. I've never liked it, and I'm not just saying that now because it's becoming a little bit dated, and everyone and their dog has been trying to do it since Guardiola introduced it. I've never been a fan of it. You either have the goalkeeper and the defenders and at least one CDM, or you don't. Not everyone is able to play this system. A handful of teams are able to do it properly.
It's so frustrating, mate. It's just bait. bait. That's all you're doing. You sort of bait in a press, in your own fucking defensive third. It's madness what they're doing, knocking the ball
it's
about.
Stupid. It's stupidity, and I don't like it. I'm not saying lump the ball forward, although there are instances where you can lump the ball forward, but you don't need to be passing around in your own 6-yard box, and then everyone knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's boring, and for that, Guardiola is the main instigator for bringing this in, but that will slowly die a death. However, if Potter is still one of these people hanging on to this ideology of playing, and he's going to look for Ramsdale, unless Ramsdale is improved drastically, I don't think he's any better than Areola doing that. Plus, I don't think he's as good a goalkeeper as Areola. And this is Areola that's not been that good this year. I'm not fussed anymore, Nick. That's the long and the short. I'm honestly, and you know how long I've been supporting this team, and the regular viewers will know the same. 42 and a half years, almost 43 next month. I'm turning 50 in April. My 7th birthday, the day after my 7th birthday, my dad took me to my first game. We won 4-3. I want to say it was against Leeds, I think. 1982. I don't give a shit anymore what this team does. I'm not renewing my season ticket. They didn't ask me to. They asked my friend Perry to, and the only reason he did was because they gave a massive discount to his daughter, and he thinks even if I don't go, I can sell my tickets, and selling 2 or 3 games, then I get my money back. Fair play to him. But for me, I don't have it in me to go to Stratford anymore, to see the tourist fans, to take that journey, to have these managers that don't have the gumption to do something themselves, and they're always being dictated to by Sullivan, to see boring football, to sit in a bowl with no atmosphere. I'm beyond it. I can't take it anymore. I won't take it anymore. Maybe if I'm bored, then I might go to one game, on the ticket exchange. But I'm not renewing my ticket. I said it in the chat earlier. I'm not joking.
Do you think,
not because they're top of the league, but we used to go to Underhill and the Hive with my dad, as well as West Ham. I'll go back to the Hive. It's only 25, 30 minutes away. Like I said, there is a good kebab place there as well. But I'd rather go there.
I've been a few times as well this year, and I've been going to Enfield Town. They're actually Enfield Town.
I'm going to the Enfield St Albans game in a few weeks. That'll be a good game.
I'll see you there. I'll see you there.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, nice. That a relegation ding dong. But I was born in Enfield Town, so they've got a soft spot for me. But these are the games and the stadiums that you try and hang on to days and years gone by.
Yeah.
And everyone of a certain age appreciates these stadiums, like you said, the old school stadiums like Palace and QPR, which Ryan said, which is like a relic. You don't have many of these stadiums. Okay, the Hive is new, but it's still a nice little atmosphere. You go to wherever you can feel some kind of connection, and it is nostalgia, and it is, looking at the past. And you should never really look too much at the past. But it's a football club that you love.
Corral, let me just 1 second, right now.
Sure.
You've reached a point now, basically, where you've accepted. You've gone. That's enough. I'm done. What can you put your finger on what has tipped that
accumulation, and I'll answer your question in a minute. I'm seeing Ryan's put something.
Yeah.
Ryan, I lived in Melbourne for 2 years, in 2 1-year stints, and I watched West Ham like you, a stupid o'clock every time, and I used to feel that connection with England, and I loved it. I went to games in the A-League there. I went to Melbourne City games, Melbourne Victory games, absolute junk. But I would happily sit and have a drink with you and watch a game with you anytime. In answer to somebody else's question about manager, I think I can't remember who it was that asked me. To be honest with you, anyone that's going to play an attacking style, I know it's hypothetical, but the Bournemouth guy potentially, I would get him from the Premier League to come.
I was going to say, so Randy's asked this question a few times, but he's asked it to you now as well.
Yeah,
so he said,
I would say him if I'm choosing from the Premier League, but I would say, like you did earlier on in the show, someone with a West Ham connection would be it. I don't know whether Carrick would be the guy, but someone with a West Ham connection, I wouldn't take Lampard back. I loved his dad, but I don't care for him. But I wouldn't take Lampard. But someone with a West Ham connection, I would take over anyone else in the Premier League, even if it would mean a longer rebuild. To answer your question, Nick, it's an accumulation. The man whose name we don't want to say, but we have to, he started this off.
Yeah.
Moyes started the rot for me
as well.
He started the rot in 2018. Yes, we finished 6th. Yes, we were competing. But the last 2.5, 3 years, and I don't care yes, Ian, it does boil down to the ownership. I don't care who defends Moyes to the hilt. The last 2 years, the amount of losses, the amount of heavy beatings to random ass teams like Palace and Fulham and whatnot, and to our other teams as well, the disgusting football, the goals conceded, the fact that we were sitting there bored, the fact that we knew what setup Moyes was going to have before the game even started, whether it was against Kidderminster in the FA Cup or Liverpool in the Premier League, that killed it for me. That was the beginning of the end. I didn't want Lopetegui. I didn't want Potter. I'll be more patient with Potter, but again, like you and like most people, it's only because we've come to the crossroads where we think, you know what, who gives a shit anymore? It doesn't matter whether it's this guy, that guy, prime Ancelotti or whoever. It doesn't make a difference. There is too much rot in the core, and it is stemming from Sullivan, and that's without denial, but with no denial. But there's too much that needs to be changed. And just when you think we're taking 1 step, 2 steps forward, we take 6 steps back. The stadium is always going to be an issue for old school fans, for proper fans, for fans that remember the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s. Always. However, we would accept it a little bit more if what we were watching was worthy of our presence there. But it's not.
Yeah.
So unless you're going to have some kind of affinity to the players that you're watching, not players that are coming, and I'm not being racist, I'm of Turkish background, but I was born and raised here. You've got players that are coming from this country, that country, just to get money in the Premier League for their own well-being. Nobody gives a crap. If Kudus does go to Saudi, he can kiss my ass. He's moaning and groaning. He wants to play at the top level, and he's prepared to go to the desert just to get, all this extra cash. He could play anywhere he wants to. Yeah, he hasn't hit it off this season, and he's been miserable. Well, fine. It hasn't worked out.
I think his issue is his stock has fallen. So if he'd have moved at the end of last season, he probably could have gone to. There would probably have been a lot of clubs that I would imagine would have paid 60 to 70 million for him, not 85, but 60 to 70 million for him in the Premier League. But obviously he's got that 85 million clause. We decided to keep hold of him. But we're fucked up there, really, because he's...
Well, we have, but hindsight is a good thing, though.
No, but the only way we're getting 85 million for him now is if we flog him.
Is if the Arabs come.
Is if flog him to Saudi, yeah.
That's it. And to be honest with you, if we had any belief that the ownership would invest wisely, and I'm not talking about spending crazy money on championship question marks and whatever. I'm talking about spending it. Why wasn't Guillaume given a chance? That kid was 18, 20 million. He hasn't been given any chance. Why? There's been no public address of that from the club at all as to why this kid is not playing. But to be honest with you, they don't have to answer. But if they gave anything about the fans, gave a crap about the fans, they would say something. But unless there's going to be a proper investment in the Caseys, in the Freddie Potts, who, like you, I'm a massive fan of. Thank God Scarles is there. But we want to see connection. Now, we don't have connection to Upton Park and to the area. But at least give us a connection to the players that are local from the borough. Put these kids in.
Even these links that we're seeing at the moment, right? So now, look, fair enough. If you go back at the start of this month when they was trying to force these early season ticket sales, we was on the verge of signing Jonathan David, which was all bollocks, right? So... But now it's moved on. Now it looks like we're actually seeing the players that are being targeted in the summer. Now, look, I haven't got anything against signing championship players. I'm going to refer to a comment.
Neither have I.
No, but I'm going to refer to a comment that Troj put up here earlier on. And he said Somerville, Bowen, and Antonio and Cresswell, all decent signings from the championship. And I'm going to say this.
100%. Yeah, 100%.
But I'm going to say this, right? If you look at Ipswich basically bought the championship all-stars from last season. It's all very well. You can bring in championship players, but you need to bring them in to a team where there's players of a higher level.
With a foundation.
That are doing it because, as John always says, Virgil, he says, iron sharpens iron. You bring their levels up. If all you do is build a championship team, Corral, what do you end up with?
You'll end up like Ipswich.
You end up with a fucking
Southampton.
You end up with a championship team.
I've got nothing against championship players. If anything, I prefer them because they've got motivation and they've got that grit and that steel to them. But Virgil's right. You've got to have quality around them. Otherwise, you're forever starting from scratch and keeping your fingers and legs crossed that it's all going to fall into place. And when your manager is showing you defensive signs from now, it's not going to bode well for the future. So that means you need to keep Kudus or Paqueta. You need to keep Alvarez because he's the main guy in the defensive midfield. You need to keep Bowen. You need to build around these 3 or 4 players. You need to get a better goalkeeper than Areola and have some competition for him.
Look at it another way.
And then obviously start from scratch in defence.
But look at it another way. So I'll go back to this screen, right? So this is a team. If you want to look at it, I suppose, if you want to look at it as a legacy of Moyes. So after that 5 years and this year, so 6 years, we've accumulated Paqueta, Alvarez, Kudus, Bowen, and you could say Wan-Bissaka now. Scholes is homegrown.
Who's been very good.
Yes, but that's basically what we've got to show for the last 5 or 6 years. What they're talking about doing now is ripping that all up, fucking all of that off and starting over again. The only one that we'll be left with that's top level, in my opinion, is Bowen. And
that's it.
And that's scary.
And even he's not been himself this year.
No, yeah, but that's scary. These are undoubted.
Of course it is.
I know there's people in the chat that will go, Kudus this, Alvarez that, Paqueta. Fuck it, I'm not being funny. They're different level players. Paqueta goes to Man City, he'll be amazing for him.
He'll thrive.
Kudus will thrive for any team. If he goes to Saudi, he's a mug,
True.
but he will thrive for any team. Alvarez is a top quality
Alvarez,
CDM.
same.
Top quality CDM. These are top players that we only managed to get because, to be fair to Moyes, we had got ourselves into European competitions.
Yeah. That's true.
It's the only reason we did manage to get them. But getting rid of them now, when we're sitting 16th in the league with a new manager, it's suicide. And you know what? It's almost a gamble because I know that for the past few seasons, the teams that have come up, they're basically been relegated from the
yo-yo teams. Look at Luton now, Lick. They're going to get relegated from the Championship.
Exactly. I mean, but there are a
yo-yo
teams.
There
are a few teams. Leeds could come up next season, and they could do well. There are at some point
mid-table.
There will be 1 or 2 teams that get promoted that push on.
That fall through.
And then do you know what? If that had happened this year, we'd be fucked.
We would have been in more trouble, and this Wolves game would have meant more than it currently does.
Yeah. I know.
I don't want to cut my ties completely, but I'm honestly sick to death of it. Yes, I hope we beat Tottenham. Yes, I hope we play better football for the last 8 games. But have we seen enough so far to give us that indication that we will? No. Even against Leicester, we didn't play well. We didn't get out of third gear. We could have destroyed them 5-0. We didn't. We cruised on 2-0, and that was it. Against Leicester, you honestly think it's going to be any different in these remaining games? I hope I'm wrong, but if we're basing our team next year, again, on Fabianski still being there, and the like, Ings, Mavropanos, who is, I'm sorry, he's junk anyway, and players of that ilk, then it's going to be a diluted team once again, with the extra 2 problems of A, we've sold 2-3 of our key players or better players, and B, you're going to input young, inexperienced players who I'm not saying are going to be crap. Again, I repeat, Championship players, nothing wrong with them if they're well scouted and they're well chosen. However, you're going to be putting yourself at an even more difficult position to build that foundation with a manager that we haven't really got too much confidence in so far. No. Now, this was a guy also that wanted to bring Ferguson. That's a massive mystery. Mate, what the hell's happened with this guy?
Mate, if we'd have given him 50 million to buy Ferguson, he'd have bought Ferguson for 50 million.
Yes, he would have done. And the scary thing is, somebody said it earlier in the chat, I think, Sanchez, God forbid that guy comes and replaces Areola, then I tell you, we'll be shipping as many goals as we did in the last season with Moyes. So I don't know, Nick. I'm not going to renew. I've decided on that. And I'm sorry to my friend Perry. I still see him, but I'm not renewing next year. I've had enough. I really am not going to. I can't take any more stress and any more aggro.
What you can do is the same as what I do, Corral, and you can just cherry pick games to go to throughout the season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So I'll go. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not going to pay through the nose to go and see us play the bigger teams, the better teams, but I'll cherry pick games, mate, and as and when I want to or I feel like it.
I'll be honest with you, right? I am still to this day amazed that we have fans that will pay over £100 to go and watch us. We see them in the chat. I'm going to be honest to
Nick, you can get flights. You can get return flights to Barcelona for like 70, 80 pounds and go and see Barcelona at the new camp or the new stadium.
£100 for £100 in my opinion, in terms of going and watch a game of football, that's like cup final money, right?
No, that's ridiculous. That is a cup final ticket price.
There is no way, and I would not pay £100 to go and watch a
football. No, as you said, cup final or Champions League or Europa League quarterfinal or something like this. Yes, it's a one-off. But a league match?
Fuck
no,
that.
no way.
You got no chance.
No, stuff that.
I mean,
like I said, I'd spend my money.
Especially when, look, listen, especially when you know that the entertainment level. I mean, Obsidian made a point earlier on. He was referencing the Dutch and the French league as being the equivalent to Championship. Well, I do think that there is this kind of there are a lot of Premier League
stigmatism.
There's a lot of Premier League fans that have still got this idea that the Premier League is the best in the world and it's amazing. And
not anymore.
It's fucking shit.
Did you see the Bournemouth Man City game today, Nick? I turned on the last 8 minutes and I watched it with my brother. It was good. Drab.
It ain't good. What the Premier League has become, because there's so much money involved, is you're watching a game of cat and mouse. You've got chess. You've got teams that are literally scared to lose, so they set up with these fucking stupid blocks, and then you're lucky to get and have these world class players that can make the most out of minimal chances that they get in a game.
Yeah,
that's basically
somebody referred to QPR earlier. I think it might have been Ryan actually. Somebody referred to QPR 2-0. And then it was 2-2. My brother watched the Coventry-Sheffield United game the other day on ITV, and he said that it was a fantastic game. And even though Coventry lost, they played quite well, and it was an open attacking game. This is what we desperately want. And anyone that still denies there was such a thing of the West Ham way, one, should research their history, and two, should realize what people through the 80s, 90s, and the early part of the noughties witnessed with these attacking wide players that just went at defenses and went to win games. I'd rather lose a game 3-2, 4-3 than win a game 2-0 as we did against Leicester. And that's the God's honest truth. I want to be entertained. Everybody pays their hard-earned money, especially nowadays when they're so expensive, pay their hard-earned money to go to games. You accept the fact that you may not win. There's a 33% chance. However, you at least want your team to graft and show some kind of effort. And West Ham has always been about that since the very beginning, since I started to go. They would give you aggro like hell, and everyone knows this in the chicken run especially. But regardless, if you gave 100%, then they would be backing you more than anyone could ever expect. West Ham have always been a grounded, humble team that want to see entertainment, and they'll accept all consequences for their
exactly right. We accept
for their balance.
We accept all consequences, and that's why we've not been a successful club, because success
not since the 60s.
No, because we're more than that, and I think we've always been a bit of an enigma to especially other London fans of local London clubs who have been more successul, like your Tottenhams, like your Arsenal. Why they? Because we've always been proud of supporting West Ham. You go on holiday, all you can see is fucking you go and lay on the beach. Well, you've got, like you said, you always find a West Ham fan somewhere. You lay on the beach, you'll see a West Ham tattoo. We're loud,
for sure. I mean,
loud and we're proud.
West Ham fans are not like Liverpool, Man United fans, whereby you get them in East London, South London. West Ham fans are predominantly people that have got some connection to the East End of London or to Essex. Generally, this is it. Yeah. So we're a niche market, so to speak. So for that reason,
so you talking about YouTube, Trodge, because your Planet Booze will be gone. Or you talking about at the game, lifetime bans for swearing?
Are you talking to me, Nick?
No. So Trodge has said there'll be lifetime bans for swearing soon. Does he mean at the games? Or do you know what? You're probably not far wrong.
I wouldn't be surprised if what he's referring to is the games.
Yeah, you're probably not far wrong.
I wouldn't be surprised if what he's saying is correct. Crime. But look, Troj's logo is Julian Diggs. This is a guy that would live and die for West Ham, man.
100%.
This is a guy that you want to see. Him, players like Di Canio was with us for what, 3 years? How many years ago? 20 years ago. But still, people that remember Di Canio remember him so fondly because he gave everything. And this is a guy from Rome. This is not even a guy from the East End or from Essex or somewhere around the way. He's from Rome, but he took to the team.
Do you know one of my best memories of Di Canio, right, was...
I met him in an event in East London. I got a photo with him. I was like a 10-year-old kid meeting their idol. He's absolutely phenomenal.
One of my best memories of Di Canio was I was sitting in the Bobby Moore stand and he missed a fucking sitter. I can't remember what game it was, right? He missed a sitter. And anyone else, the fans would have been on him, going, yeah,
On their
the
case.
fuck? But you know something? His immediate reation was he fell to the floor, he started punching the fucking ground, and it was like the fans were like, Paolo, don't worry, Paolo, it'd be fine. Do you know what I mean? He literally,
You remember
no one cared more than him. He fucking cared.
No.
Cared.
You remember the Everton game, obviously, the game where he went to he had an open goal at his mercy, and if we won it, it would have secured safety. We were already safe, I think, that season, but it would have secured it. But he felt that the guy had damaged his knee, and it turned out that the guy did his ACL.
Yeah.
He stopped the play. He caught the ball. Redknapp went nuts at him before, obviously, he found out what happened. But that was an indication of the man. That was the kind of guy that you want. Honest footballer that's not going to just score into an open goal at the expense of a player who's obviously in pain on the floor. This is the kind of person, and I'm not saying that you get characters like this anymore.
Mr. Doofus does have a point. He didn't like going away. He didn't like going to away games.
Away games?
DeCanio didn't like going away, no. He didn't like
going
to away
I don't remember that. But to be honest with you, he gave us such joy and pleasure in home games. John, include North Kent. Okay, if you say so as well. I don't know that part of the way, but fair enough. But the affinity is not there.
Do you think there's something in this? Sorry, Carell, right? And I've had this comment before. Do you think that football is a reflection of society?
Yes.
I think it is.
I do.
And I do think that... I do think that when you look at when we talk about the West Ham way, and you look at the world back then, and you look at the fan base and everything else, and then you look at the London Stadium, and you look at the gentrification of it, and you look at just how nice it is and bland and boring.
Nick, every time Perry and I go to the games, there's new faces every time.
Football.
Yeah, every time there are new faces. Whenever we sit up at the top, we've got a great view. We sit up at the top. God knows what it's like if you've got better seats than we have. There's going to be even more. But there's tourists around us. Every time we go, there's more tourists, and more of the regulars are not coming. And we sit right at the top. So God knows what it's like, lower down in the stands and in better places than we're sat. It's going to be a lot worse.
Yeah.
It's an absolute indictment of society. And I know somebody said earlier, I think it was Gary, that Man City. But I don't think Man City is one of these teams that's had a good atmosphere at the Etihad. So, but generally speaking, a lot of Premier League teams, the atmosphere is dead. Palace still keep a nice atmosphere at home. But to be honest with you, handful. Tottenham is dead as well.
But as I said earlier on, right? So, I mean, you're talking about the entitled teams as well. I think, and also, let's not forget, Tottenham have also gone through what to a lesser extent, because their stadium is better, but it makes a big difference when your fucking home gets ripped up, even if it's in the same place.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Because you do have an affiliation with that stadium. I don't care, right? So and people that go to Tottenham, I know they say that it's soulless in there, because they have.
Well, I've seen Expressions says it. You know what? Enough to hear.
Yeah. But it's soulless because you do have a connection with it. It's all part of the same thing. You're like a living, breathing organism. Do you know what I mean? It's actually.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
It is.
The stadium is the church of the football fans. Football is like a religion.
Well, I was going to say a stadium's belonging to a club, any club. It's a sum of all its parts, and if any of those parts aren't what they should be, in our case, there's quite a lot from the top down, then it's not going to fit. So you're absolutely right. It's where you go to congregate. It's where you go to see your team. It's where you go to feel some connection with your team, with the way that the area that you're in. However, if your stadium has been moved, albeit a few miles down the road, automatically you haven't got the connection. Then you got the Sullivan factor and the board, the way that they run the club, the way that they embarrass the club with their Mickey Mouse offers for players, the way that they deal with players that they want to buy in an unprofessional way, the way that they treat managers, the way that they treat players, the way that they redo contracts, the way that they don't defend their players when they ought to. Why have we not come out and said something about Paqueta to defend Paqueta? Why have we not said anything?
But exactly, that fucking pisses me off. But even when you
Why not?
But even when you look at the way that we've dealt with the Soufal thing, he could have gone to Fulham. This is a man who's settled. He's been with us. He's been a good servant for 5 years. He has.
No doubt.
So this is a player that he's approaching the end of his career now. He's 32, soon to be 33.
33, I think.
He's settled in London. He's not part of our plans. He's not part of the new manager's plans. And he was
treat him with some respect.
He was offered a move to Fulham, which is another London club, for more money. And we turned it. That move's gone now. That move's gone. He's not getting that.
They're
move
not
now.
coming in for him.
No,
No.
that move's gone. So even
No.
that is just fucking shit.
They've screwed him over. A guy that's given 5 years of his life willingly. And as I said when I came on, we had the interview in the pub. Sufar was going on Sunday with Suchek. That's fact. They were training on Sunday, leaving their wife and kids. That's not rumor. That's not hearsay. They were in the beginning. It was reported that they were training on a Sunday on their own when everyone else had a day off at Rush Green because they felt that connection and professionalism.
Yeah.
And for them to treat this guy, never mind English Academy, British Academy players or other players that have been at the club for a long while, in this disrespectful way, it doesn't say anything positive. Yeah. You're giving the wrong message.
Yeah,
you're giving the wrong message.
Again, red 5. I'm not saying I want us to renew Soufal's contract. I don't. But what I'm saying is, at that point in the season, right? Look, I'm not being funny. I know we had a few injuries, whatever else. We're doing nothing in the league. We weren't getting relegated. At that point in the season, we weren't going to be.
Let him go.
We should have let him go. We should have let him go and get that move.
Nobody's saying keep Soufal. Everyone knows that his time has been done for 18 months. But it's the way that they treated him. Yeah. The way that they treated him is wrong. It's unprofessional. It's disrespectful to him. Even Cresswell, who I've said before, not been his biggest fan for the last 4 or 5 years. However, he's been a good servant for us. This guy had an ACL. He came back. He still gave the best that he could. So the way that they treated him, they're not doing testimonials anymore. They could have made an exception for him if they wanted to. They really could have shown their appreciation for him. The guy's been with us 9-10 years. He's from bloody Liverpool, for God's sake. But he's connected with the team, with the fans, with the community. So show some love back to the players. Yeah. And he's never been one of these players that comes out and moans. And he's never been one of these players that I think gets, massive wages. Show some respect and you'll win the respect of the fans. Even if it's a smidgen, you'll win some respect of the fans in the process. But if you continue to treat people unprofessionally, unfairly, unethically, and you're going to disrespect them like this, never mind the way that you treat your own fans, and you're going to constantly send this team into turmoil and sending them backwards, 2 years, 3 years. You show 1 year of progress, then you go back 3 years. If we're going to have another rebuild of a rebuild, forget West Ham for the next 7 years. Forget it.
Yeah.
Forget it. And then by which time the Potses and the Scars of this world will be going to pastures new because they're going to be saying, well, you know what? This club is still rocky.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? What are we going to do? Stay here and wait when we're in our prime?
I think what we're about to witness this summer right now, this is going to determine whether or not the ownership really do understand the situation that they're in, because I think that if those players get sold and we end up with 250 to 300 million, and this is this is like an actual rebuild, a massive, huge rebuild. This is building a new team. They can't get this wrong. If they get this wrong, I think that we're pretty fucked. I mean, long-term fucked if they get it wrong.
How can they get it right, Nick? You're talking about buying 10, 12, 13 players. It's impossible for them to get it right, especially with no sporting director to lead the ship. It's impossible. They won't get it right.
Yeah.
If we needed 3 or 4 first teamers, you can say somehow they'll blag it and they'll find a way. Potter will have his input. They'll get 6 players. 2 or 3 of them will work. The others will be subs. Nick, we need 10 players. If these players are going to go, we need 10 players, 7 or 8 of whom, 7 of whom need to be starters. Yeah. No exaggeration. For me, you apart from a handful, Bowen, Scholes, Wan-Bissaka, even Ariola's question mark now. But you got 3 players there that play. This is assuming that Alvarez and Kudus and that go. I'm going to keep JWP. Yeah. I'm going to keep Suchek. I'm going to keep Somerville as well. But Somerville, he could be sub, but he's going to be of use. But you've got really 3 mainstays that you can't get rid of if the main ones go. You got 3. Then what? Kilman? Question mark. Todibo? Question mark. Who else? No one. So you're starting from scratch. We don't have a forward, and the one bloody forward we've got, supposedly, he wants to bugger off back to Germany. Well, so you're building from zero. So you need 7 outfield players, plus, in all likelihood, an upgrade on Areola.
Yeah.
Because Areola's been so wobbly for 18 months.
I know.
So it's a massive thing. They will get it wrong. They will get it wrong. Okay, Potts. For me, Potts walks in the team. First, without question, Potts walks into this team next year.
No. He does walk in the team. He walks in the team now. If he's here, he walks in this team now. But if James Ward-Prowse and Souček are still front and centre in that midfield, Potts ain't there. And
whoever you had that bet with, you will win.
Brian Flowers,
both those players will start next season.
They will start next season. They will be the core of the team. They will because what Souček allows is for you to be non-creative in a game, but still have a goal threat from certain instances. So you can you can create fuck all, but then in certain instances in a game, from a set piece or when he makes a late run when we're throwing everything at a game in the last 10 minutes. He's capable of popping up with a goal. It doesn't matter that, and what he does is he does that defensive work. James Ward-Prowse, he just ticks. He's a pot of dream.
Ticks the box. He's a yes man.
Just ticks the ball over. He just knock it round side to side, side to side. Perfect. It is literally perfect for him. What he's got there. Yeah. I don't see those two players moving. No,
sadly, I agree with you, and I can't take that anymore. No, I can't, Nick. I can't. Enough. Enough is enough. I can't. It's too soul destroying, and there's no enjoyment. There isn't, unless we're proven wrong, and I hope we are. It's too soul destroying. I can't. It's not to say that I forget the memories that I've had in all these years. Not at all. It's not to say that I won't watch the games on television. I will. Will I be as invested? No way. Am I going to still go to one or two games? Probably. Yeah, no, but that's it. That's really it.
I think next season is going to be the first time that I don't actually go to a home game because I've stuck to it. So since my last home game which was Brentford, I've said no more. And I think next year I'm probably going to go. Just to away games, and again, that's just going to be cherry picking those. But anyway, look, before you go, Corral, against Wolves, we'll sort of wrap this up now. You can help me wrap this up. So against Wolves, this is what I've said that I would like to see. Scholes at left back, Wan-Bissaka at right back, basically a 4-2-3-1 with Alvarez being the sole CDM, Paqueta and Kudus in midfield, Guilherme and Bowen on the wings with Füllkrug. I want to see Füllkrug if he's fit rather than...
Is he ready?
Yeah. He's been training. He's been training for 2 weeks. Füllkrug or Ferguson in that striker role. That would be me. What would you do? And lastly, what do you think is going to happen? So what would you do first?
What would I do different? What would I do different to you?
Yeah, go on.
Nothing. Exactly the same. Carbon copy.
It's just that's balance, isn't it? 5 defenders,
carbon
5 attackers,
copy. Carbon copy.
Yeah.
What do I think he'll do? I think he'll go again with wing backs. He'll put Kilman, Todibo, Cresswell as a back 3 central. Yeah. He'll put Scholes as a left wing back, Wan-Bissaka right wing back. He'll put he'll put Alvarez and Paqueta and Souček. He'll put Kudus on one wing, Bowen on the other wing, and either Füllkrug or Ferguson in the middle. And he'll swap whichever one he doesn't start with in the centre forwards. He'll swap them.
There's no room.
He will not play Somerville. He won't play Soler.
There's no room for the striker. If you play with 5 and 3 in the middle.
I counted too many.
No, sorry.
No, you're right.
You've only got room for Kudus.
No, sorry. No, you're right. He'll put Bowen as the centre forward then.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, you're right. I counted 12.
And again, Corral, have you got the same concerns with me with Bowen? In that we're not going to get the best out of Bowen using him in this way.
I've always said it. He's not a forward. I've said it from when Moyes started to experiment out of desperation and stubbornness. I said it then. He is not a centre forward. Bowen's only place that he can play to the extent that we know he can is on the right side. Full stop.
Yeah.
He can't play as a false 9. He can't play as a 10. He can't play as a double 10. He can't play on the left side. Right side wing. That's it. End of. That's it. If there's no other way.
I mean, this is where I struggle, right? Because do you know where my frustration has come from with Potter in the past few games? It hasn't even really been the football. It's been before a ball has been fucking kicked. It's because of his persistence with doing this. Playing a defensive heavy team with that fucking midfield and, doing what we've been, as Trod said it earlier in the chat, the same midfield that was shit under Moyes in his last season. Yeah. Doing that again now.
You know why? Nick? Because it's reliable. Inverted commas, it's reliable, it's dependable. You know what you're going to get. Potter's playing it safe, whether just for this season, which makes no sense because we are totally safe, and you should just go for it. Maybe you can win over some people that are doubting. Play attacking.
Well, then, do you know what? If he does that, and I'm going to say this, and if there may be people in the chat that won't like this, but if he does that against Wolves, the team below us, who also really have fuck all to play for, they're safe. They're safe as well.
Yeah, they are.
There's two teams that are safe, got nothing to play for. Both sets of fans have had a miserable season. If he does that against Wolves and doesn't show any attacking intent in that game, then I am sorry. If you do think that that's going to change next season, I think you're mad. I think you're absolutely
no. I mean, look, two things.
Crackers.
Two things. One, I've just seen John said he won't start Alvarez. He's absolutely right. He won't. He'll put Ward-Prowse and Suchek. The other thing is, going to your point, he played like this against a worse team, Leicester.
Yeah, I know.
Leicester are worse than Wolves. When Wolves want to, they're not a bad team when they want to. But Leicester are worse, undeniably worse. He played in that manner against a worse team at home. A team that was pretty much condemned to relegation then.
Mate, it is
so
funny.
It does not surprise me that he'll do this against Wolves.
Red Stretch has just said Jedward, so Suchek and James will press with Alvarez in the 10. I mean, that against Newcastle.
That's stupid as well. That's a waste if ever you heard it.
When he had Solera and Paqueta on the bench and he had Alvarez in
the
10.
And that's an insult. That's an insult to players that can actually play in that 10.
He'd done that because it was getting another defender in an attacking position because Alvarez will press.
Yeah, that's true.
So he's another defender, but in an attacking position. Fucking
it's too much. Enough is enough. Nick, before I go, and I'm sorry I've kept you so long,
that's all right.
Can I just say a big hi to 3 lovely teachers that I work with, Simone, Sophie, and Natasha. 2 of them are Spurs fans, but they're nice girls. So a big shout out to them as well, because they'll be watching this.
It don't make them bad people.
No, not at all. They're lovely people. All 3 of them.
People. All right, okay.
Thanks for having me on, Nick, and good night to all the fellow boozers. May God give us strength moving forward. That's all I'll say.
Good night, one and all. I'll talk to you after the game on Tuesday night when we play blistering football. We blow Wolves off the field.
Yeah, and we win 6-1. Sure.
And we're all going to be singing Potter's praises. All right. So
definitely.
I shall speak to you then. Cheers, mate.
Thanks, Nick. Lovely to talk to you as always, my friend.
And you. Cheers, mate.
Bye.
Right. And with that, I think I'm going to give my predictions on the game. Actually, can you give me your predictions? Really good calls tonight, everyone. Really good. Really good. I don't feel any more optimistic off the back of it, I will say. So I'm sure you lot don't either. But give me your predictions for Tuesday night. I know many of you don't give a fuck about the game. Give me your predictions on the game. What do you reckon it's going to be? I'm going to go for... I'm going to be positive, and I'm going to say it's going to be a high-scoring game because both teams have fuck all to play for, and I think it's going to be 4-3, and I'm going to go West Ham to win 4-3. I'm going to be optimistic and say that he's going to play an attacking team, and he's going to throw caution to the wind, and we're going to have fun on Tuesday night. That's what I'm going to say. Do you know what? If he does that and we lose, I'll be happy. If we lose 4-3, but it's a good game of football, I'll be happy. The result means fuck all. Just want to see us have a different lineup, go out there and attack and play some football. If we do that, I'll be a happy man. I'll be a happy Nick. I promise you, because that's all that matters now. That's all that matters. So for me, 4-3 West Ham. Let's see what you lot are saying. Hang on. Oh, sorry. 1 minute. Oh no, I do need to go actually. I'm getting a phone call from downstairs. Something must have happened. Anyway, Obsidian says 8-1 West Ham and the players all have T-shirts to say up yours, Nick. I'll be fucking over the moon with it, honestly. We could. It could happen. Tuesday night could be the game. It could be the game where it all clicks and we play brilliant football and then I'll be all over Potter like a rash. You know? Oh, no, I've got to go because she's on one. Anyway, I will speak to you all soon. Don't forget to drop a like before you leave. That's not the love heart. That's on the actual video. Speak to you all soon. Come on, you irons.